Welcome one, welcome all to a brand new edition of the Wide World of Electronic Sports. We are back with another week of amazing esports news featuring our amazing hosts. Welcome on in, everyone, and thanks for joining us. How are you all doing?
Doing fantastic, Denny. How you doing?
No complaints, feeling pretty good. Solid Monday. Good to see you both.
And of course, we always have Rodney Conyers Jr. here as well. How are you doing today, Rod?
I'm doing good, man. I got up this morning and I was telling you before the show started, but I was like, I feel like I'm actually like doing my thing. I did the shell today, so if y'all go read the shell for all the Shackers out there,
Nice.
you'll see that I wrote that. And I hope it sounds like I wrote it too, because I was like, I think I wrote it like with my own kind of voice in mind. So I hope it translates well. But yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling really good about that.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Yeah, your shell definitely reads like you wrote it, and definitely glad that you had one up there. Maybe you'll get more up there. I'm sure you'll get lots more shells because they're always happy to get someone else to write a shell for them. I mean, it's always a good thing to have. But no, in all seriousness, let's get into Wide World of Electronic Sports, episode 142. Week 142. It's going to be a big week of news to talk about. So what do you say we get right into it?
Let's get it.
Nice. So first up on the docket is a big story actually out of Bangladesh, from around the world. Bangladesh, if you didn't know, country in between India and I believe Burma. It's like crazy. It's just like kind of tucked in there, kind of surrounded by India almost. On the eastern side of the country, it's definitely a spot of esports we don't hear a lot about, but this story coming out is really tough. I mean, it's about a raid taking place at a PUBG mobile LAN event where over 100 people arrested by police because this game as well, PUBG Mobile, as well as Garena Free Fire, are both banned as of August 2021 last year by the government court citing addictive behavior, being one of the major reasons why the games were banned. Yeah, this is really shitty, man. Like, esports definitely shouldn't be illegal, but if you know that this ban is happening, I mean, that there's got to be a risk of something like this happening. Rod, what's your take on all of this?
My take is that it's just absolute and utter horseshit that these people can't play video games. I'm not just saying that as a player. I also think of like what some of the working conditions are over there, and like I would imagine what they're worried about with like it being addictive behaviors, them kind of being locked away and doing what is considered to be nothing for long periods of time, where their mind is somewhere else, just not really where it should be, or whatever sort of reasonings that they had for banning gaming. But I'm like, how's that any different than some of the shitty working conditions that we see people go through over there? They're sitting mindlessly and aimlessly doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And at least in esports, there's some sort of opportunity for advancement to some degree. Like, you can try to create a better future for yourself, or if nothing else, it's just good for recreational use. Like, hey, I'm having fun, but the working environment and stuff over there, I feel like, if you're going to ban something, like, or at least reform something, let's focus on that and just kind of that whole infrastructure first before we start tackling esports. And yeah, I think it's just completely fucked. It sucks that most of these players, I believe, were young too. Like, I think, was it between the ages of like 16 and 20 or something like that, if I read that right? So I mean, just I see the types of doors that esports is open for some of us. Even when I was like 24, I'm like, wow, I can only imagine what I would have done and where I would have been had I got on this a lot early. But I got young people over here who are on it at like 16, 17, and they can't even blossom into who they're supposed to be because the government just shuts it down. I think it's just stupid, man. It's just fucked up.
It absolutely is. Denny, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree. I mean, I feel like there's clearly, whenever you start taking away the privilege of people being able to enjoy themselves with things that are available to a wide scale of the rest of the world, And I can understand to a certain extent some of what people are afraid of as far as like the addictive properties of some elements of gaming. If you don't have anything else, but at the end of the day, I also think that comes down to how people work with legal guardians and stuff like that. I mean, from a child standpoint, I
Yeah.
understand wanting to limit some of that, time on gaming, because it
Yeah.
can be unhealthy in those kind of spurts. But in this situation, yeah, it's a bit disturbing that you could be put in prison basically because you decided you wanted to play a mobile game. On the other
It's
hand,
just
Yeah.
so whack.
I
I
feel
definitely
like
don't agree. I don't agree with the government trying to step in to parent, step in as
yeah,
a
like
substitute for parenting, right? Like that, it definitely is never a good thing. Um, it's just like, however, like it's not, this ban isn't just meant at kids though, right? It's just a
yeah,
completely, altogether ban. It doesn't matter what age you are,
yeah, it
you
could be
can't have these games.
any age.
And yeah, certain games being banned is not a new thing. I mean, in China, there's all kinds of games that you just cannot get access to unless you get them through illegal black market, means or whatever. Um, and Australia notably bans a lot of like higher violence content or more graphic games. Has been known to. Germany in the past as well. They've lightened up a little bit though in more recent decades. But yeah, so different 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 governments have banned certain types of games for a while now, but games being banned specifically because of the addictive nature of them, I feel like just banning PUBG and a grain of Free Fire saying because of how addicted, like that's not enough. Like you would have to ban all mobile games because all
Yeah, like you would
mobile
have to
Yeah,
ban
gaming
it would be
like
across the
is,
board.
yeah, though the entire thing, the whole industry, mobile gaming industry is predicated on making your game as addictive as possible, right? So yeah, they'd all have to go.
yeah, you got to get rid of like, fuck. I mean, even games before PUBG, like get rid of Bejeweled, Bedazzle, all them damn types of games. Get rid of fucking Farm Simulator on Facebook. Like it all got to go because like that's just
Yeah,
And I guess something being counted as addictive. I'm sure that they've ran some sort of stupid test, some sort of dumb numbers on it, but in reality, it's just all subjective, and it's just absolute government BS where they're just like we just don't want our people getting locked in games mentally and stuff. Just like people over in France, we're trying to preserve our language, and so we're banning certain gamer words and stuff. Like it has nothing actually to do with anything. You just don't like the culture, the stigma that is gaming, and so you're trying to do your damnedest to get rid of it. But I think of all the things that they should be focusing on, this seems very minute. Because when I Google like Bangladesh, working conditions, Bangladesh living conditions and shit like that, like it's absolutely horrible. I'm not saying the country's horrible, but the working conditions, the things that's supposed to upkeep and uphold this country, the working class citizen does not have the best of time over there. I think maybe we should focus our time on that instead of banning gamers, people who are trying to find some sort of recreational fun from what I would
Yeah.
imagine is the day-to-day BS that happens over there.
Well, not only that, but it's just a dumb move to try to curb, because this just curbs esports. And this article really goes into how Bangladeshi esports is not going to bounce back well from this, because a lot of Bangladeshi esports is built on the accessible nature of mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
And the most popular esports in Bangladesh are games like Counter-Strike Go,
Right.
PUBG, Rainbow Six Siege, and those equivalents on mobile. If you can't play those because they're banned, obviously, then yeah, you are just cutting off a huge demographic to try to get a burgeoning esports scene up and running.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this is a huge blow for Bangladeshi esports, and it might set them back years because of something like this. It might take until these bans, until there's re-legislation, and these bans are lifted, until the
Mhm.
esports scene can really thrive. Because in countries like Bangladesh and around the world, mobile gaming, mobile esports is the way to go. And you see it with companies like Riot and others embracing that by releasing games like League of Legends Wild Rift, or the Rocket League Pocket version and stuff like that. Yeah, like these large billion-dollar companies realize that mobile esports is not a thing to be fucked with. Like it's big.
Yeah, it's just accessible. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Danny. What were you saying?
I had a question for you guys. Like, do you think that some of these major companies, like Riot, for example, would invest the time into maybe having someone as an ambassador to kind of come to these kind of countries?
No, why would you?
I mean, if you're losing out an entire country's worth of revenue, because
I feel like you would. No, I feel like you would just invest your efforts into countries that have embraced your game. You know what I mean? Like if you have China, if you have more of Southeast Asia, Philippines, and Japan, and I mean if you have most large players, then smaller smaller countries like Bangladesh, this is really that's why this is really going to hurt them, because larger companies are going to see this and they're just going to think, well, we're just not going to touch them for a while. We'll just our product just won't be available there on their eShop, their App Store, and their Google Play Store. Our stuff just won't be there.
Yeah, I'm out to second that as well. Like after I went to Cuba and I seen America, and some of the other countries, I mean, we're so far ahead when it comes to technology, whether it's, like in an innovative state, in a recreational state, whatever, like we're just kind of leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of other areas. And when I went to Cuba, they had a cyber cafe, and I could tell that this little cyber cafe was literally the end all be all for them. And it wasn't super fancy, at least by my standards, but it was enough to keep people happy and to keep people entertained. Couple consoles, couple VR driving games, simple things. I mean, and there was, of course, some competitive setups as well, some online, some, of course, in person. It is a tournament, for God's sakes. And I'm just when I think of other countries and what little they actually have in comparison to us, to take that away, to stop them from being able to game because of some sort of addictive nature. And you know what? What if a person gets addicted to gaming? What's going to happen? They're still going to go to work. They're still going to go do their thing. And unless it's some game I don't know, Genshin Impact, where you have to worry about how much a person's going to keep spending on these damn costumes and outfits or whatever to keep the game afloat. What does it even matter? I just don't get it. I don't understand some of these other countries when it comes to, and here, who am I to complain? I mean, I live in America.
Yeah.
Who am I to complain? But something like this, I couldn't imagine sitting down, having a boardroom meeting and what needs to go, fellas? Gaming. I'm fucking tired of it. All right. I think our people are going to get addicted. We need them addicted to other things, but not gaming though. It's just dumb.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. It makes me sad that people, kids who want to play esports in Bangladesh are now going to have a much more difficult time doing so because of things like this. Hopefully if we are able to follow up on this kind of story, hopefully the next time we report on the Bangladesh esports scene, it will be in a more positive light of things going the other way.
Yeah, I agree. Because even with all the career opportunities too, I mean, so many of these kids at this age, they're still playing the game because that's all they really know and have access to. But there's other younger kids over here in this country that are hey, I played for so long, tired of gaming, want to become a TO, content creator, whatever the case may be, some other avenue. And you just take all that away because it starts with actually playing the game first. Once you take that away, you just kill an entire industry. So,
well, I wonder, because in a lot of countries, over on the other parts of the world, I mean, their criminal justice system is, I mean, as much as ours sucks, there's worse. And, I imagine I hope these kids get, just what would be considered a slap on the wrist and just a minor penalty compared to what could happen to them, because I would really hate for these 100 people that, people that a lot of them younger adults, younger kids, being arrested. I would hate for their lives to be maybe ruined over something like this, just because they wanted to play mobile game with other kids, with other people at a event.
Yeah, this is like the opportunity. Like this would be a situation where they would be made example of for future people to understand that they're taking this seriously, and then they could just press charges on a couple of them over meeting up one night to play some games.
Yeah, having some fun. Of all the weird things that
I
could see other countries getting very angry for doing on the internet, because there are quite a few. All right, gaming, like competitively, so weird. I just don't get it. But I share the same idea with you guys. Hopefully, like when we cover this next time, like it's a different story. Maybe these young people were able to get away with the slap on the wrist, or maybe hey, the rules change over here and they can finally start gaming. Because this is making me upset.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to something a little less upsetting. And that's going to be our weekly Smash news. Because we got to talk about Smash. We do it every single week. It's one of the best esports, if not the greatest esport in the world. And this week, we're talking about Smash Ultimate Summit 5. Rodney, can you give us the details? What's going to happen in a few weeks with Smash Ultimate Summit 5?
I mean, the better question is what isn't going to happen. So, the great thing about Ultimate, about BTS specifically, is that in a world where we have 2 circuits, okay, we got a World Tour circuit with VG Boot Camp, and then we also have, a stateside circuit, or I guess, North American rather, with the Panda circuit. BTS still finds a way to find their openings and to make sure they can have as much fun as possible. So, of course, before we get to main stage, which I know is going to be at the end of the year, right before actually both finales, we got to have ourselves some fun. And what better way to do it than with Summit? Summit was the first tournament back after the pandemic. And I don't want to say after it like it's ended, because it hasn't. And in fact, Uncle COVID brought Uncle Monkeypox too. So we're still in it. All right. We just got to be in it as safe as possible. And we got ourselves a Summit, man. But of course, still presented by Coinbase, coming September 15th through 18th. So as you may know, like Summit is typically 4 days, 1 day for content, 3 days for actual tournaments. And with new voting changes, fellas, what are your thoughts on the changes? Because it's been long overdue, but I'm glad it's here.
Yeah, I think I would hope that this Smash Ultimate has somewhat of a shakeup in the faces that we see playing. I know we're going to see the usual mainstays, right? Mm-hmm. I would imagine, we'll see folks like Leo. I would hope we would get to see maybe even some nice faces like, or the changes. So the changes are that all of the votes are, let's do that first before we get into who we want to see participate. The changes are basically, it's now no longer uncapped. It's no longer like shown either. Like numbers are now going to be hidden. So basically, the votes are now capped on the 3 different ways to earn votes.
Yep.
I believe. Well, no, the 2 ways. Yeah. So the 2 first ways are capped, and then the Arcadian is not capped. Yeah, because obviously someone has to win. If they're all capped, then there would be ties. So yes, by spending money in the Summit shop towards your preferred player, they can earn votes up to 100 in the Summit shop. And then at main stage 2022, they can also get up to another 100 votes. And then at the Arcadian, there will be 5 votes times 3. I'm not even sure. So total possible votes per person, I guess it is capped 215. So 215 total possible votes per person. But all of the voting will not be shown until the Summit countdown on August 23rd. All of the vote-ins are going to take place on August 23rd from 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, live on the BTS stream. 4 players are going to be qualified through the voting, and the votes will be hidden until that show. So those are the changes. So the votes are capped.
And I'm a little indifferent on the changes. I'm a little back and forth. I didn't think that no matter what, there needed to be a shake-up to the system like you talked about, because, as cool as the Smash community is, probably more Melee than Ultimate when it comes to events like these. I felt like a lot of the personality that I have seen come through Summit, because that's like the ultimate place right there to like really showcase how just exuberant and how like just jazz hands you can be and shit, spirit fingers you can be, in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
We keep getting the same guys over and over because at the end of the day, people want to see an event like this. It's almost like an all-star game, if you will. You want to see the players, the best of the best in the world, play to their highest degree. And so, when it comes to putting on like new talent, on the screen, we don't really get to see it very often. But hopefully, with the shake up to the system like this, we can see new people because we've seen, over in Melee, players kind of rise up through the ranks and kind of have their like coming of age story in the community through the Melee Summit. And even in Ultimate, I believe we had Adamus, who isn't new by any means. He's actually a Brawl legend, if not maybe even a Melee legend, but who, kind of rose to prominence in Brawl. He had a pretty good showing up until that summit, and then he was able to get up in there and do some stuff. Of course, he's playing DDD against top tier, so we know how that goes. But, like, there is a space for everybody here. And I hope that we get to see new people kind of play in. The votes being hidden, it's a little weird, but, if it's supposed to be unveiled on a very specific and special occasion, August 23rd, from what this is saying here, from 2 to 6, p.m., I guess, you never really know unless you try it that one time to see how the community feels about it.
Yeah, and to answer the question in chat, how is this better? So it's better in a couple ways. Better in one way where Rod was kind of talking about how it gives a chance, a little bit more of a chance to some players who haven't been featured in summits yet. Some players who might not have quite the influencer following, that some people might have, and also to eliminate the basically black market selling of votes that was going on with some of those players who are, the big time influencers of the scene, to make sure that they do get their spot. So yeah, this is to combat that in particular. But yes, mostly to give a chance to more people.
Yeah, because like there are people who have some actual like good cases to get themselves voted into Summit. Now you somebody like Leon, for an example. Leon, of course, one of the most known Ultimate players. Obviously, he's not in the top 10, but that's not because it's a matter of skill. He just plays Bowser. Okay, it's kind of hard for Bowser to crack into that area. But when he's playing against your favorite player's definitely shaking and sweating a little bit, right? But the point that I'm making is that he had, I want to say I think he jumped out of an airplane or some shit. He jumped out of a goddamn plane. Like, it had the parachute thing attached to him, or the guy attached to him, and then he had the parachute, but whatever. The fact of the matter is that he jumped out of a damn airplane and still didn't get in. And I just thought that was the weirdest thing ever. Like,
that's wild.
Yeah, and the community, no surprise, in Smash, they're split on what they say they want versus like what they actually respond to. One example is commentary. You say you like analytical commentary, you want people to talk frame data, boom, boom, boom. But then I get on the mic with Arbiter and Double Down, and we just yell for 2 hours, and they're like, this shit is hot. So the community doesn't know what the hell they want. They say they want new faces in Summit, but then the community votes for the same people over and over again. You say you want personality at Summit, you want people to, give you new skits and show you different sides of them that you don't even see on stream and on YouTube. And then you vote for the same guys in all the time. Now, I'm not saying that Summit should happen without some of the best players in the world. You'd be a fool to do it without Leo or Spargo, all right? Tweak, whoever, some of the mainstays. But I would like to see some new people.
So, speaking of the new people, who are these new people? Who belongs in Summit who hasn't been yet? Has Riddles been to a Summit yet?
Yes, he went to a Summit and somebody popped off on him, actually. You know what?
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? Hold up a second.
Riddles deserves a chance to get a pop-off of his own.
Yeah, well, one thing about Team Liquid, they practice those damn pop-offs, don't they? Oh, it was, I want to say maybe it was versus, sorry. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I want to say it was versus like the Buzz or Aaron or something, but it was before it was sponsored, and it was like a big deal because like, oh, you just popped off on him, like, well, you don't do that. So.
But yeah, who would you like to see? I would definitely would like to see, Riddles go again.
I'd like to see Riddles go again. I think I want to see Riddles and I want to see DeBuzz go. In terms of like mainstays, and that's just because, and no, I don't have some sort of like strange love towards Liquid. No, Hungrybox isn't paying me Coinbase money to chill right now, but I think DeBuzz has always had, and we've known this, and we're going to talk about it actually in a little bit, but he's always had like the bridesmaid and never a bride thing with him. And he's won some big things in the past, but I'd like to see him win something. And I think for something like Summit, where like it's the best of the best in the world for the most part, and you win that, it's a good jumping off point. We've seen it with like Proto Banham. I believe he beats Leo at a Summit, and then a couple months later, boom, he beats Leo at Double Down. I want to say Riddles as well, because I'd like to see him, finally get that number one spot, in bracket. He's been doing really well. CEO, get on my level. These really great losers runs. He's really great just bracket runs in general, but he just can't quite break into that one spot. So, and as somebody who loves fighting game characters and what they do to smash characters in the game, I want to see it just for the content. So,
yeah, I definitely would like to see. I know we're going to see some. I would imagine we see some Japanese players show up for Summit. I mean, they're definitely showing up, more recently, doing some good things in, World Tour and other events. So yeah, I would like to see some players, like the mainstays, T and Shutan, maybe Ken. Yeah, it'd be really cool. Gact or, just somebody. I know we're going to see some there. But yeah, speaking of DeBuzz, though, let's move on to our next Smash topic, because we got a little bit of just a tiny little Smash tidbit about DeBuzz, because apparently I think he thought he caught himself a new princess.
I think he did too. So the funny thing about this here, let's actually just pull the tweet up. I'm going to pull the tweet up and I'm going to read it word for word. Okay, so July 25th, 2022 at 3:43 a.m. Good Times, My Good Times magazine / clothing brand. It says Aishinaz Gil, hope I'm pronouncing that right, looks like a princess as she poses for DeBuzz Senpai in this beautiful attire. Now, this attire is very beautiful. It's very regal, looks very good. I love floral, or whatever type of print that is, so I'm very a fan. But we tagged DeBuzz. DeBuzz responds, a princess for me, crown. You know what? The King of New York is probably about to get a queen pretty soon. Is the Statue of Liberty not enough, fellas?
I think this queen, or I think this princess is in another castle for sure. The King of New York is not getting his queen. This is definitely, it was a typo. So this was meant to be a tweet for someone else completely for sure. So I guess this is like, I don't know. This is like, it's supposed to be it's a model, and the tag for DeBuzz is supposed to be the photographer, right? And they just got the tag wrong. They got the tag completely wrong. So the person it was supposed to be is a photographer, I guess, in India, and like he's got like over 1 million followers, like huge deal, right? Like I don't know if that means anything on Twitter, right? With like the bot count, but still, it's a lot of followers. And this model has like over 900,000 followers. So I just thought it was funny that DeBuzz Senpai. I mean, he's up there, he's getting there, and he's verified and everything. He definitely is a big deal in the Smash circle. But yeah, I think it's really funny that there is a large demographic of people who have never heard of DeBuzz who are now knowing exactly who this guy is.
That's right. This is probably my favorite of all my Disney stories and fandoms. Beauty and DeBuzz coming soon, y'all.
Beauty and DeBuzz.
Y'all need somebody to write the music. Trust me, I can do it. I know most of the songs from Beauty and the Beast. We can switch some words around. I can weird out this thing, y'all. Beauty and DeBuzz coming soon.
I want to see it. I think it should be a headliner at Rodfest for sure.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
I think that's going to do it for our Smash news. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. But, the big game, and the game we're probably going to be talking about for like the next 40 minutes, the big deal is Multiversus, our Smash adjacent news. Yes, Multiversus is out and about. The open beta is it's out there, people. If you haven't played it, go and get it, play it. I don't know if you still need a drop to get into the open beta. Like, first of all, I can call it an open beta if you got to make people like earn a drop
early
through
access
Twitch or whatever.
It was early access to the open beta. The real open beta starts tomorrow, so you won't need a drop to hop on and play fairly soon. So, I mean,
all right. So tomorrow, no more drops necessary. But I mean, if there are people out there still dropping, codes for it or whatever, go out there and do it. I did it. I watched Hungrybox. I put Hungrybox on for an hour. I took a nap, came back, and earned my code. Easy peasy. We've all been playing the game, right? All of us. Like, everyone here's played it. Everyone on the crew has been playing on it.
Watching the streams here too.
Exactly.
We have the boys, TJ and Donovan, and some other folks, playing live and got some codes. So if you guys watched last week here on the stream, thanks.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's hear our impressions from the crew. First off, Denny, what do you think so far? Now that you've gotten your hands on it, and you have to be jealous of everyone else.
I had a good time. There was definitely some. I wish there were more characters unlocked from the start. For me to play around with. But there is. I do like that they have all the characters available for you to basically play with in the training room and stuff like that. So you can try them out. They even have like the costumes and stuff. You can look at all the costumes in the training room and stuff like that too. Apparently, which is a bit different compared to some other stuff I've seen. But yeah, I had a good time. We played for Big Team Building last week, playing with the group, and it was a fun time. We had a good time for the most part. I was getting a little bit salty of all the Tasmanian Devil action going on, but
yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for this game, especially with how much detail and time they put into the little things. Just the character interactions, the presentation, all that stuff goes a long way for keeping a game fresh, in my opinion. As long as it's actually fun, it's a lot easier to kind of, make excitement for any new character announcement and stuff like that, which we did get plenty of course, LeBron and the boys eventually making their appearance.
Yeah.
Rodney, what do you think?
I mean, first and foremost, like, to address the LeBron thing, I think a lot of us seen this edition coming, a few months ago, probably really when the game was launched. Like, once we realized, like, how much HBO and Warner Bros. And everything, like, how much they really have their fingers in, we were like, oh, LeBron might end up in this game. And then, of course, they had a cartoon version of LeBron to already work off of with Space Jam. And, he's rocking his Space Jam attire, which I think is really cool. This actually isn't the first time we've seen a cartoon version of LeBron. I know Fortnite had a guy that kind of looked like LeBron for a little bit. Then they actually just dumped him in there as a skin, I think, a few months later. So I like this edition. I think it's kind of shaking up the world of video games right now. It's letting people know that, like, anybody can certainly be in here. And honestly, I got that impression not from just the LeBron rumors, but I really got that from, like, seeing Arya Stark added to the game. I'm like, you guys did a cartoon version of Arya Stark. Like, okay, now I get it. I get it now. Like, it was one thing when it was just Cartoon Network characters or when it was DC. Like, we've already dabbled with characters like those in various other titles, But when he added, like, LeBron and Arya Stark and characters like that, I'm like,
And then there was the original leaks, too, like, with characters like Gandalf and stuff like that that people were seeing.
That's right.
Up.
Yeah.
Definitely got
a
scale there.
I don't know how much faith I put into those leaks, but yeah, you're right. The field is wide open as far as character additions right now. If they're willing to put someone like LeBron James in the game, I mean, I loved Asif's tweet, like how Multiversus just kept the hype going with LeBron James. I mean,
LeBron James.
Like, it was a very smart announcement on their part. Like, everything they're doing with this game so far has been really smart, and I'll talk about that more later in a few minutes. But first, I did want to talk about how I feel about the game. I like what I've played so far. I've played a few matches, and it's
gameplay in here.
Yeah, that's me right there. Actually, with that spike to win my first match, I just had to link that. But no, really, the game feels great. I feel like it is a little floaty for my tastes. I'm not saying it's too floaty and like it should be, lessened. You just have to get a feel for that style of the game, right? Like it has a little bit floatier feel than say Smash Ultimate or Smash Melee. But they really have gone all out with the movement options in this game. Like you can go from pretty much any point on the main platform to any far corner of the edge of the screen and get all the way back if you know what you're doing with the combined dashes, attacks, and everything. I feel like the air game in this is going to become the strong meta. Like this game is going to be played in the air. It's going to be like the anime fighter of platform fighters, if that makes any sense, if you know what I mean.
I agree. And I think, coming from most Smashers coming from Smash specifically might struggle in that regard because a lot of the KOs that are done in Smash, a lot of it is really grounded, or it's like just a hard hit off the left and right sides. And also just for what you get per hit. Players from like Brawlhalla, Rivals of Aether, Rushdown Revolt, they're going to have a much easier time. Even Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, they're going to have a better time with the combo system than some of the people really more from like Ultimate. Melee might do well, and of course if you play Melee and Project M, they're kind of like this, so they have a similar style and feel, but yeah, like it's different. I play I was playing Wonder Woman and she's kind of tanky, she's kind of slow. That's how I like my characters. I play Link and Smash, but I'm thinking like, wow, it's not enough for me just to get one hit. Like I have to milk this thing. I have to push the advantage, or I'm going to lose this match, or we're going to lose because it's a team match. So I like what it's doing. It's forcing people out of their comfort zone. You might think platform fighters out there, friends. Play some multiverses and then check back in with the Shack team. Tell us how you feel.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Denny.
I was saying, I know that I've seen people saying a lot about it being too floaty for them and stuff like that. And I think it is going to take some adjusting, like you were saying, with, there being more aerial combat. It's something they really want you to use the entire map. And there's no block. So, maneuvering and moving around the screen and stuff like that and just taking advantage of that is going to have to happen for, people to play the way they do. I'm really interested to see how people come up with team strategies as far as the 2v2, which seems to be the main mode that they're kind of pushing for the game. So I'm curious to see what kind of strategy they have coming into how that works out and how people kind of come up with things that, work with a team dynamic in this kind of role.
Rod, did the game feel different now than when you played the alpha? Techno was asking in chat.
I guess not really. I mean, there's like some slight differences, I think, with like dodging. Dodging feels a little stronger now than it did in some of the previous builds. And mind you, I had only just played that original one. I know there's some people who've had it since like day zero. But and I know it's gone through a lot of changes of characters as well. Like I know in some of the earlier builds, Arya Stark was absolutely busted. Then Superman was really crazy. Now it's like Tasmanian Devil and Finn. But to your point, though, the only thing that really feels different from me between both of the builds is just the dodge mechanic. But that could just be me maybe thinking a little bit too much into it. I've realized that it's very strong. There are times where I'm like, okay, I think I have a pretty solid grasp of how this matchup is going to go. Like I'm on the ground, I'm playing Wonder Woman, I'm going against I'll just use Shaggy for an example. Okay, I got the reach advantage on Shaggy. I got kind of the staying power advantage on Shaggy too, since I'm a tank. But then that moment where like I'm comboing him, and Wonder Woman's combo strings aren't the most elaborate strings in the world, but every character's ability to dodge in and out of things just feels a little lopsided right now. And I'm not saying that they need to tone it down or whatever, but it just, I don't know. It stops me from getting the most out of my combos. But other than that, still feels about the same to me. I'm sure they're probably going to go back and tweak it again too.
Yeah, I mean, this is still considered beta. They're still definitely taking feedback from people. I'm sure they're taking feedback from their playtesters, from the the people who they've had internally playing the game. Any pros or people like that. Because they had pros. They did highlight some pros playing the game before in alpha. They had, I believe, Light and some other guys on there checking out the game. So I'm sure that they do have some of those guys, on a insider build. So yeah, we'll see if their feedback and if the developers play testing throughout the open beta will adjust it. I don't know if it'll be adjusted in any big ways though, right? Like I think the game does feel really solid in the form that we got it right now.
Yes.
I feel like, yeah, they're already announcing and adding new characters. So with LeBron James, with him now in the game, yeah, that's like it really opens it up. And they also announced Rick and Morty arriving season 1, so that's also a huge character, or like a big fan favorite, right? Like I know a lot of people have been requesting Rick and Morty. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan or anything, but yeah, a lot of people are going to be playing as that character. A lot of people are, yeah. I wonder if we'll really see like you were saying, like if we'll see the stuff like Gandalf or like Walter White and stuff like that. Although,
well, can I point
WB
out
owns those characters though?
If you want to speculate, I want to add the part that we do have an entire article with over 89 characters that you could speculate might be in the game. We put together a nice list for you already here at Shacknews. You can go check it out. I put the link in chat. So if you're curious to see who may pop up in the game, just based off of who's available through WB, we got a nice list here of characters, and so far we've been on point.
Yeah, you nailed them.
Every character that's been announced so far has been on this list. So if you're curious about who might show up, check us out. Check out the
character-wise. I need Matrix characters, but I also need Matrix stages more than anything. Y'all hear me out. Now imagine, take Castle Siege. The stage goes through 3 transformations, like between 3 different areas of the castle. Now imagine we had that for the Matrix too. So you get the park scene, like you can fight there. You can fight on top of the cars through the highway chase scene between them and the twins and the Keymaker and whatever. And then you get the Merovingians, spot, his whatever. Yeah, I think just those 3 right there. And then plus, Matrix characters, like give me like Morpheus and Trinity and Neo, or just anybody really from the franchise, but particularly those 3, and I'm sold. Okay, but to your point about changes, though, I highly doubt they're probably going to change anything, like you guys said. I mean, with everything being so close to Evo, and honestly, at least from what I think they announced, the open build a little late, because literally a week after it's announced Evo. I wish they would have did this maybe just a week or 2 before. That way everybody had a chance, and not just some people who were in the know or some people who were in the right room when it was happening and stuff like. But I guess to the flip side of that, there's no real like data on who's going to like really walk into this Evo bracket and like tear it apart. I mean, there's some people that we know are favored to win. There's some people who have maybe had a few of the builds who have just never played on stream, or who've never actually, interacted. So they have their chance to really help and tear it up too.
Let's talk about that for a moment, because Evo is soon. I mean, this tournament for this game, this giant advertised $100,000 duos tournament for Multiversus, starts August 5th, right? That's like just a little less than 2 weeks away. So, arguably, the least amount of time a person then could have to practice for this game, if they really did want to get serious and play this at Evo to the level of like, I want to win that, majority of that $100,000. The least amount of time they would have to practice is just 2 weeks, just basically 2 weeks. I mean, most of those people are going to be in the open beta already. They'll have gotten their drop and everything, and they'll have started as soon as they could. But how much time did that really give them? 3.5, a month at the most? You know what I mean?
Have to have a team too. I mean,
that's what I was saying.
So you have to have been practicing. So the most people will have been able to have practicing together. I'm going to say, is like a month, right? A month? Yeah, but there are Army of Techno is right. There are a bunch of esports players. There are people who like I was saying before, that they have allowed to check out the game for feedback, for testing. And obviously they've had access to the game the entire time. It's not like they
will
took
they
it
be
away
able
from
to
them
enter
or whatever.
in this regard? Because I feel like when other companies have done that, they weren't allowed to actually enter those kind of events. Like I know when NetherRealm used to go for early access or beta testing, they weren't allowed to enter any of the tournaments. For that
So
first,
is
like,
Light
6
not
months.
allowed to enter this tournament or whatever?
I'm sure he will be. I'm sure all the players
Void.
that will be. But I don't know. I love the fact that they've, gotten pro platform fighter players. I've just smashed. There's other, platformers in there as well to give their opinions and, to give them positive feedback. But, with it being Multiversus was just so closed off for so long. I mean, I'm not going to name any names or whatever, but I remember going over some 10 players a year ago. And they had the build where they're playing, but like there's the code on the screen because if you screenshot anything or record it, they'll know how to trace it back too. So like they had very prehistoric builds of this. And I'm just like, this is dope. I really hope they don't announce a big old ass tournament for this where guys who have had it for 10 years have to play against guys who've had it for 3 minutes. Then Evo rolls around and that's what's happening now.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, I feel like those early builds. If you were in those early builds, I feel like you shouldn't have access to be able to play on an actual tourney for the. It's different if you're in an open beta situation or at least in the alpha. But if you've been playing for 6+ months or something ahead of everyone else, but throughout the current builds, I feel like at least in other games that you weren't allowed to actually hop on and play unless it was an exhibition situation where those people would be matched up against each other, and it's not necessarily for money, but more for just pride. That would make more sense to me. But if you're in a situation where you've had access since last year and now you get to enter a tournament for money against people who were playing for a week and a half, that doesn't balance out to me in comparison to what I've seen happen. Because NetherRealms always has, for example, they always have people in alpha and beta who are working through the game behind the scenes, and those people aren't allowed to compete on any level of tournament play for 6 months to a year after the game comes out.
As late to the party as Nintendo is competitively, Renai, 9B, Earth, and I want to say one other individual had, early builds of the game, actually helped work on the game. That's why some of the CPUs were absolutely, look, if y'all thought Kazu's CPU was broken in the beginning, his little trial run, the CPU in day one Ultimate was insane.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah, so even like, they had a ban on them for a little bit, which is I think is fair, even though they had no real stake in competitive play. But like, I don't know. No matter what, though, I think most people who are good, in other platform fighters, but namely the ones that feel more like Multiversus, like how Void was so good. I'm glad actually, Asha brought that up. Whoever picks Void is going to win. But also, the Cat and Void static teammates, they normally back to early Smash 4. They might just win the whole damn thing.
Now, has Void had early access, early build access to this game?
I want to say yes, and I'm only saying yes because he was in a lot of the trailers and stuff with the Cat.
So yeah, if he was in the trailers playing, then yeah, he definitely had access. So yeah, it's a very good point that Denny brought up, and that are we going to see them in this tournament? Obviously, if there is no restriction, from WB or the developer, then why wouldn't you enter, right? Like if you've had, if you've had 6 months time to practice this game and you're already nasty at it, and everyone else is just 2 to 3 weeks in, just now starting to get some kind of meta together, and you've already discussed different meta. You've already picked up and dropped metas. You know what I mean? Because you found something better.
Discuss with developers directly. Like they could be having conversations with the devs about what's in and what works. And
exactly. Like, so it's going to be very interesting to see who these entrants will be on August 5th, Friday. 10 a.m. Yeah, I'm because we're not going to know until the day of, right? We won't really know exactly who's in until the tournament starts.
Yeah, that's kind of my take on it too. I think this tournament will definitely determine a lot of things. I've had my hands in the background of a lot of online multiverse events. Like none of the official ones, of course, but some more of like the community ones. And there are a lot of people coming in from other platform fighters and really just other fighting games, period, that have gotten pretty nasty in a very, very short amount of time. I do think that there is just something there that kind of clicks and void in players of his caliber's head when it's time to kill. Like they just have like a Terminator kill switch up there. But I think it's not going to be free. Like everybody's going to give each other a run for their money in that later portion of bracket. But in the beginning of the bracket, though, it's going to be very much what we think it is. Just a lot of like 0-2ers, you know what I'm saying? Just in it just for the fun, having fun. Like once you get to like that halfway point, you're going to see it get real ugly. So I'm excited.
I'm also very excited. And you know who else is excited is a brand new Twitter account at MVS Gaming, a new Multiversus Twitter account created for all things competitive Multiversus. Going to keep us updated on tournaments and more. Obviously, Evo being the big thing that they're talking about, that everybody's talking about. And yeah, I am really excited about this. I'm really interested to see who the high level players announced the day of the tournament, who's going to be getting in, who's going to be at the top of their pools basically. Because if it is players that we've seen play in those, developer videos, those behind the scenes, the pros play with the devs kind of things. If we do see some of those guys in this tournament, then yeah, I guess that will mean there was no restriction on who got to enter this tournament. But if we don't see any of them, then I guess it will be, more like Denny was saying, like with NetherRealm Studios and other devs, where people who have had inside access have a hold or a ban on entering tournaments, at least until the game is out in everybody's hands and not even in a beta form.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting because this $100,000 tournament, it's not a main event. It's a side thing, right? It's not obviously a main thing at Evo. This game isn't a main game, but WB has done a really good job at kind of hijacking the conversation so far, because with this kind of money on the line, I wonder, we don't even know how many people are signed up for this. Like,
I'm afraid to look.
Yeah,
I'm afraid even that.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's free to play. I mean, you could in its crossplay. Like you can get your buddies together, like on Xbox,
how many
PlayStation.
people are going to be showing up at Evo, at Mandalay Bay to play Multiverses compared to, say, Street Fighter V? Like, are there going to be more people who showed up for this $100,000 side thing than for Street Fighter V, or even dare say the game that got the most entrants, Guilty Gear Strive?
Well,
God
I'm
bless
also
the
wondering
TOs.
too.
That's what just.
Oh, bro, facts, dude. I mean, we got to keep Rick and the gang in our thoughts and prayers. That's going to be a hellish weekend for him. I mean, honestly, it's his first Evo, at least in this position. They've always had a helping hand in running events of this size, but with him in the driver's seat. But I'm also a little curious as to what type of a side game this is. There are some side games where the schedule that you're scheduled to play does not coincide properly with the main games. Is this one where it's like, this is a side game, but we have it scheduled properly, that way you can play at this wave at this time, that you can also play over here? Or if this is
I mean, I imagine there will be some crossover. There will be players who are playing, the more traditional Evo games that are part of the main stage. Some of them, if they did have time in between their brackets to play this game, sure, they would go and play it. It's free or whatever. But I imagine there won't be too many people who are invested in winning both, say, Street Fighter and Multiverses.
I mean, maybe we can ask TJ. He's going to be there. I'm not sure if he's entering for Multiverses, but if he is, maybe he'll give us some live.
I don't think he officially. I know he entered for 3 games that are main Evo games.
Yeah, I wasn't. When did they
Mortal
announce
Kombat,
this?
and
when did they announce this tournament was happening? Because I wasn't sure.
This was announced a while ago. It was at least announced at least a couple of months ago, if not 3 or more.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. But yeah, to your point about like the whole crossover thing, I'm very curious. I would imagine most of the people who play this game on a very semi-professional, I guess I could say professional at this point, since they have technically a professional league. They're probably focused mainly on multiverses, but I'm more curious about like the people like the Sonic Foxes and the players of that stature who like have been wanting to come over to platform fighters for some time, who now want to do it, but might not be able to do it because, you know, of the crossover and scheduling. And I believe this is a top 32 payout, but if it's a free to enter thing, and I don't know if they have a cap on it. If there's no exact cap, or at least not a reasonable one, I mean, dude, the TOs could be calling matches all goddamn day. Like they could literally be sun up to sundown.
You get paid out up to 25th place in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
25th place gets $1,750 per team, up to $10,000 for the first team. So you would think of $100,000, you would win more of that prize pool, but it's being split so like between. I mean, yeah, I can't imagine they're not going to get a lot of people trying to enter this because then you're like, well, shit, all we got to do is get 25th place and then we're in the money, you know, and getting $1,750 for a weekend, you know, of playing multiverses. That's not too shabby.
You're at Evo anyway. Like that's covering your food right there.
That basically covered your trip. Paid for itself.
I like to see Mr. Hungry Box in this bracket. That's what I'm going to say. Hungry Box, if you listen to this, okay, you know, I know you like to tweet about tournament payouts and Smash. I only made enough to get a bologna sandwich and blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a platform fighter out there, right, that you do pretty well with. I better see you in this bracket, at least trying, okay? I know you're good at what you do. I need you to be better than good here because I want to see no more tweets about $25 and blah, blah, blah. My brother in Christ, you went to CEO yourself. You flew to see.
Yeah, I agree with Asif. There's going to be a few hundred people in this, if not more. Because this is basically the Smash of Evo, right? There is no Smash at Evo, but there is multiverses. So if you want, like, this is the we have Smash at home of Evo, and that's it. If you want Smash, this is what you get.
I do want to note that it does say
that. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It does say that Iron Giant, LeBron James, or any other character released after the start of open beta will not be allowed for this tournament either as well. So if you planned on being the Beast LeBron or something like that for this, not happening.
Don't practice with LeBron. Don't waste your time practicing with LeBron.
Well, yeah, and I guess that's just like the old FGC rule. Like, is it like the 13-day rule or something between patches and tournaments? Yeah, and I like it. I'm glad that, you know, Multiversus is creating an accessible environment for platform fighters, especially for a tournament like Evo, who has dropped the whole platform fighting genre for a year. I like the fact that it's basically doing what some of the other ones can't. You know, I think Brawlhalla and Rivals of Aether have had a pretty firm space in some of these other events like DreamHack. Seen him at CEL Day. I know we've both seen Brawlhalla and Combo Breaker in the years prior. But I'd like to see what Multiversus can do. Can they fill that void, or if not, fill it all the way up and let it overflow with something new? I'd like to see it.
I would like to see this $100,000 duo tourney get more entrants than at least the third game on the Evo list. Definitely more than Mortal Kombat. I would like to see it get more entrants than Mortal Kombat 11, just to prove that game is just to NetherRealm, just once and for all. NetherRealm, it's over.
I mean, I want to see the numbers move just so that, you know, if there's enough healthy crossover between FGC, you know, and just fighting game players in general in this game, it'll have a long livelihood, you know, like a long stay in most of these majorities.
Last time Smash was at Evo, it crushed the entrant numbers. It was by far and away the largest game by number of entrants compared to any of the other games. So if anything's been proven, a platform fighter there's room at Evo for a platform fighter. If not having Smash leaves a huge void, actually, and that's what I'm saying. I wonder if this multiverse is gonna fill that void that quick.
They might be the one to do it. It's something I want to see. You know, another thing I want to see, fellas. Guess what? I want to see people like, follow, and subscribe to Shack fucking News, okay? I'm not going to keep saying it nicely. Friends in the chat, if you're watching.
Shack fucking News.
All right, I want people to like, follow, and subscribe to what we got going on here because we got a lot of great everything going. Uh-oh, did I summon them? I summoned them.
Yeah, my man came in like...
Someone with the folding chair.
Uh-oh. Not the chair. Wait, is he coming in?
It looks like he was trying to.
No.
What? He's coming in to tell him to like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's right. I was compelled to jump in here, tell everyone that they can give us Jeff Bezos' money for free.
Yeah. Hit that.
But also I felt left out. Like all you guys got to talk about Multiversus and then
Oh, I said, well, how are you feeling about Multiversus? Because I know you've been playing it as well.
I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. I guess I don't have a camera right now.
Yeah, you're just the blocks, the spinny blocks.
I don't know what's going on there, but what are you gonna do?
Discord being Discord.
Yeah, I'm gonna just blame Discord for this one. But yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's. I agree with everyone's comments that it's floaty. Just in general, but yeah, we didn't really talk about it as much, or you guys didn't really talk about it as much. Rod, you kind of mentioned it, how Smash is kind of on the ground. The meta is out and down, especially in Ultimate. It's like out and down.
Yeah.
The meta in Multiverse is definitely up.
Yeah.
It reminds me more of Smash 4 in that sense.
That's what I was saying. I think the meta for this is definitely going to evolve to being a very up, in the air centric kind of fighter. Just because people are going to get juggled and they're just going to get killed if they don't know what they're doing.
Also, you can just stay in the air forever with Shaggy just doing the kick. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that people are going to try to compare this to the Smash series, but like, the mechanics are very different in my opinion. And everyone likes to say, "Oh, platform fighter, it'll somehow beat Smash entrant numbers." That's not possible. Like, people forget how crazy, especially when Evo was popping off with Ultimate, just how crazy the Smash scene was, and the revival in Melee at that time.
That's true.
Like, it feels like every time a Smash comes out, Melee has a little bit of a revival. But like, that 2018, 2019 time period was really huge for Smash, and it's not to dog this game at all. I just don't think you're going to see that level of entrance. Also because this was something that was added kind of late, so you probably already had to have a ticket to Evo to even enter this. I noticed it was one of the rules that like you had to already have a competitor's pass to Evo to even enter this thing.
Okay.
So, to Denny's point, I think you're going to see a lot of people who showed up for a different tournament. Maybe they're an MK player, maybe they're a Street Fighter player, or maybe maybe there are people who knew about this and actually entered it, in time. But I think it's not going to be as big because the way they're pitching it as this like side event thing. If this was like if this was a headliner, and maybe next year it will be, and you have a full year of the meta to develop, I think it'll be a different story. And yeah, it could, because I personally think Ultimate is on its way out as an esport. So like, this is coming at a perfect time. And like, one thing none of you guys really mentioned that intensely, I know you did a little bit, Rod. This game's netcode is not shit.
It's true. It's a very, very good point. I've played, and I'll tell on myself, guys, since it's just us and I love y'all. I've been playing this game on Wi-Fi. My PlayStation is not hard lined in.
Right? Why are you doing this?
Why
you gotta be like this?
This betrayal. What is live?
I don't know. I've been too lazy to plug it in, if I'm just being honest.
One of the Wi-Fi warriors.
I am a Wi-Fi. Oh no! Oh wait, he's back. Okay, I thought I freaked him out. But I've been playing it, and every match that I've had, I've played at least like 30 matches a day. They've all been great connections. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. I am sold.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and that is something we should have mentioned. The netcode right now seems great. All the matches I've played, I play on a wired connection on my Xbox because I'm not a Wi-Fi warrior. I'm not a scrub. But anyway, no, really, they've been really solid. I haven't even had any instances where it had to roll things back, a little bit. It just has been smooth the entire way.
Rod,
like,
I'm sorry, we can't just let him get away with this. Rod, you live in a gamer house, right?
Yes.
So, like, there's nothing wrong with just dragging 50 feet of Ethernet cable from your router to your room. Like, that's just totally acceptable behavior in a house like that, right?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to call the feds on around here.
Are we talking to you right now on Wi-Fi?
No, I'm on my work computer, so it is definitely hardwired in. But my laptop is Wi-Fi, PlayStation's Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm a bad guy.
He can't keep getting away with this, is my point. So you're telling me with your trash-ass Wi-Fi, the game still runs better than Ultimate even when you're laying in?
Oh my gosh.
Mathematically, that would be a true statement. I didn't say those words, but you are technically right. It does run better than Ultimate. I have not had one dropout, one kick out, one piece of lag. All my combos have been crisp and clean. All 2 of my Wonder Woman combos. I'm still working on them.
Well, like, I live in Ohio, and we're still figuring out the internet here. So, like, I've run into, like, hitches. Just mild hitches when there's 4 people playing, right? 2v2. I've seen some frame stuttering and stuff, but nothing like the missed input nonsense that you see on Ultimate. Now, if I just want to throw this out there, if Nintendo has half a brain, which they probably don't, they would be working on an HD remaster of Smash Melee with rollback netcode right now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not.
That would be the only way to come back Ultimate. Like, they would.
Like I said, because like that would be huge. Because the Switch has 100 million units out there, and like I said, Ultimate's fading away. They got this Panda Cup that they're trying to promote.
No.
I'm just saying,
I don't even know if it's not a Panda Cup. I think Nintendo signed the papers for that Panda Cup just on the agreement that Panda would handle all the logistics. They're like, you know what? We don't. Here you go. Here's the money you need. Just don't bother us. Don't bother us with this anymore.
I think you're wrong. I don't think Nintendo paid any money. I think Nintendo got paid.
Yeah,
for
wow.
sure.
They're like, you want to use our name? You're gonna pay us. I think they got paid.
Man.
They didn't even
paid and not be involved at all.
Not a penny went from Nintendo's pocket towards Smash for this. No way. All I'm saying is that this is what my point is. Multiversus is a legit competitor because it's on every other platform than Nintendo, and like I said, it's a platform fighter with solid netcode and really good IPs around it.
Yeah, it has the broad appeal.
Like Brawlhalla, as great as it is, it plays well. You don't know any characters in there that
I don't care about any of them.
And like Rivals of Aether, also a really solid game. Like I can't name a single character from it.
The only Brawlhalla characters I know are the ones they've added to the game from other IP.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and honestly, props to them for doing that, and props to Brawlhalla for putting the money behind it when it comes to
Ubisoft
Ubisoft
has absolutely put their money behind that, and I feel like I was saying, or I've touched on this in a previous episode a little bit, but I feel like Multiversus really is a big threat to maybe not Smash Brothers, because I don't know if anything is a threat to Smash Brothers, but to those other smaller platform fighters who have kind of made room for themselves, like Brawlhalla, Rivals of Aether. Multiversus just might take up a lot of their lunch.
But I think it plays different enough.
It does.
I don't think it's going to be this mass exodus from all those games. Like, if you're the best player in Brawlhalla, or like the best 2 players in Rivals, you're not going to leave that game for this. But you might play some tournaments for it because the money's over there, and like, I don't think Void's quitting Smash, but that dude, if he ever tried, he'd be the greatest esports player on earth, Rod. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
I agree. That dude picks up a game. I don't know if you've ever watched his streams. He's one of the best Rocket League players I've ever seen too. Like, and no one really knows that about him. Like, he can pick up any game and master it in like 2 weeks, and then he gets bored. It was like that with Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Like that first 2 weeks, Void was the best player.
He's the shroud of non-FPS esports.
But he literally just picks them up. and like I hope he's competing in Vegas. Like I really do hope that because I think whoever picks him.
I would think he is, especially with his relationship with Tony Gwynn and some of the other people on the team. They did all that press, and I know him and the Cat are just, the Cat as well too. Very very talented player. Of course, practices his ass off, and then him and Void coming together to play. I could only imagine what that evil bracket is going to look like once they get together. I mean, he's one of the best. And I'm talking about the Cat, one of the best Wonder Woman. He's really the reason why I picked the character up. And then, of course, like you said, Void can pick pretty much any goddamn thing up and make it look like the best thing walking. So
I think Nakat is probably the best Wonder Woman out there. And Nakat, this came at a perfect time for him as a player. Because, like, you could see, I'm not saying he's a bad Ultimate player. He's not. I think the love of Ultimate has been sucked out of him over the last few years. Like, it's been draining during the COVID times. Coming back from COVID, it's been weird. Like, the meta shifting again. Like, there's just a lot of reasons if you're an Ultimate player to kind of look over at Multiversus and be like, huh. But I guess the one thing keeping a lot of these players... And isn't he a Sora main, too?
Yes. So
he's used to this floaty shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at home.
That's all I'm saying. Like, this game is floaty as fuck.
What I wonder is if some of these players will realize they might be able to, like, actually make a living playing this game if there's enough tournaments and enough money behind it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, this reminded me of, like, WWF swinging in when WCW was on the way out. They started taking over territories. They're like, oh, we won't be on your platform, but we'll be on everything else, and we'll be providing a solid amount of money for these tourneys, and we got marketing, and we might just be on TV.
It's not a mistake that Multiversus is not on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a mistake. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl was, because Nintendo didn't view that as a threat, and I don't think Nickelodeon thought they were a threat. Multiversus is clearly pitching this as, like, this is the un-Nintendo platform fighter.
Yeah, with the crossplay accessibility available for you just play on anything.
Yeah, talk about the crossplay, man. It works.
It works perfectly.
It worked. You know what? I can't even imagine how many matches I've had on my Wi-Fi. All right, fellas, on my Wi-Fi. Telling on myself again. Between Steam and all the other systems that just ran smooth, just like that.
They have yet, the WB and the devs behind this game have yet to make a misstep with this product. There hasn't been one yet. I don't know if they are. I feel like I
got one.
They've done what is the one miss? LeBron James. LeBron James.
Look, I understand. I posted that tweet, and the community manager gave me an LMAO on it. But still, that is like the weirdest shark jump to do. Is Fonzie going to be in this game? Like, what else are they going to do?
Hey,
I just say, LeBron James. That was a joke entry that we made in that article that Denny linked earlier. Like, that was a joke, and it came true.
I mean, it is a joke entry, but it's one that really makes a lot of sense. I mean, he is arguably, I don't know if he's the most popular basketball player still playing the game, but he arguably is one of the most.
Have
you seen Space Jam 2? Have you seen Space Jam 2?
I don't want to see Space Jam 2.
If I haven't seen Space Jam 2, I'll watch LeBron play this game instead of watching that. Look at LeBron and a couple of basketball players playing this on stream.
LeBron James reaches an entire set of players, that normally might even touch this game. Like there are people who play sports games but wouldn't touch Smash Brothers. But then they see LeBron James in this, and they're like, okay, maybe I might play this.
This just sets a precedent that real people can be in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like realer than Arya Stark, like actual real people in their likeness. And if LeBron can exist, in Fortnite, I know he existed as like a mock costume before they actually made him an actual skin, then he can exist in Multiverse. It is weird though. It's like, damn, you're in here fighting, and in real life, I would imagine LeBron should be able to throw down a little bit. You're built like the Incredible Hulk. So I'm like, let's see how well you do against Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Right?
Watch them put the Rock in here, as Black Adam or something, or just himself or something ridiculous, or just Dwayne Johnson.
I do want to see more. I want to see more Looney Tunes and more DC. Like those are the two things that I want to see. And I agree with you, Denny, that there should be more characters available off the jump. But this definitely feels like, okay, so they're going to use this as like a roadmap for like years. Like they're just going to be like, okay, now we're going to tap into this IP. Now we're going to tap into this IP, and they can do it like Smash did, where there was hype around every single Ultimate DLC.
I think it's bigger
each month they can have a different battle pass that has a different feature on a different set of IP.
Looking at Fortnite more than Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not Fortnite.
I mean, as far as like the acquisition, like getting the characters
in, platform fighters, though, I'm sure they do.
And I think where they have the advantage, Denny, is that they own the IP, so they're not going to be knocking on anyone's door like Sakurai was with his hat in his hand, asking Disney for Sora for a few years. Like this is like they own this shit. They're just gonna drag Neo and Trinity into the lineup. Like that's
Harry Potter. You're easy in this game. Just deal with it.
But I like how I like part. I guess I should say I like parts of this. I like parts of the in-game currency mechanic where I can grind to unlock characters. I don't have to pay. That I think is a key difference between Fortnite and Ultimate. Ultimate's like, nah, you're gonna pay us. You're gonna. Pay us
I think the cheapest Founders Pack is reasonable too. It's like what $20-$30, and you just get everybody. I think that's not too bad.
I think a lot of kids are going to be, grinding out their time after school on this game.
Yep.
And that's what they want,
Oh no, I think when it comes to time played, like I was dipping into my Rocket League time.
Well, you notice certain characters cost a little more than others. Like some of them, 2,000, some of them are 3,000. So there's obviously going to be other characters later on that are like real premium, and they're going to be like 5,000-10,000 coins or whatever that will require grinding.
But this is also the kind of game
people will do it.
You could do a double XP weekend. You could do all sorts of stuff. Like there's so many levers for them to pull. But I think like when it comes to the key aspects of this game, like they are nailing everything. To your point, like they haven't gotten anything wrong yet outside of LeBron James. All I'm saying is like, if I'm picking a character from the Space Jam series, I might pick Michael Jordan. But then again, kids these days, right, Denny? Like they think that LeBron might be better than.
I would love to see Michael Jordan as another addition, as the
Jordan
the
versus Braun.
Yes, exactly. Jordan versus Braun. However, I can't imagine what it would cost for them to get Jordan in the game at this point now.
Yeah, that man is not just an individual. That's a brand.
That's a brand, and I don't even think as many cartoon characters are in this game, the majority of them are cartoons from like when we were all younger. There's very few that are actually like newer age cartoons, and it almost leads me to believe that kids even really watching TV like that anymore. I would imagine most of the characters that are going to be added here are probably going to be like movie characters or characters that kind of dip into like that Looney Tunes franchise, DC franchise, like what you were talking about, Austin. Because like you already got, you got Steven Universe, you got Adventure Time. Those of course are the big two of the newer age ones. And I guess there's been a sudden resurgence in like Harley Quinn and stuff, but for the most part, all you got left now is like Chowder and.
I think that's more because some of the new age cartoons aren't really like they're not the type to be fighting.
So much they can do.
Wait! Steven Universe is in this game, and Steven Universe is huge.
Yeah,
that's a massive IP.
That's like
a new Earth.
So, like you say, like you want more DC and you want more Looney Tunes. I definitely want more of that. But yeah, they've only touched the tip of the iceberg. They haven't touched
the Harry Potter or any of that stuff.
And but even like with Cartoon Network stuff, like just say Cartoon Network and Adult Swim stuff. Rick and Morty and Steven Universe, like that's just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more that they could tap into.
Yeah,
like
Crack Show, Aqua Teen Hunger Force,
tons.
But to Rod's point, Adult Swim is not really cartoons for kids.
No,
and I think you're right there, Rod. That kids' viewing habits have shifted a little bit. But if they could somehow get the rights to Peppa Pig, I'm pretty sure some kids would lose their shit over that.
I would love to see some Peppa. Like, what would that moveset be for a Peppa Pig? I have
incredible. No idea. It'd be some British shit. That's all I know. But yeah, like that's what I mean. Like I think you're right to point that out, though, Rod. Like, kids may be more prone to, like, being interested in the movie characters. And then again, like, Batman applies there, right? Batman's kind of transcends time with that kind of IP. And Harley Quinn, too. But there's, like, Poison Ivy. There's, like, enemies in the Batman universe that are not in this game. You know, like, this could really become I'm really interested to see how they handle this, because it's a delicate balance that they have to do. Otherwise, one IP will take over the character roster.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, like the Bat embargo. I remember when that was a thing, so many years ago, where like in the Justice League episodes, they had to like really tone down how many episodes and how much prevalence Batman could have, because he was just so popular that, they had to do like the whole Batman embargo thing. And I don't know. I mean, I'm with you. There's so many characters that they could really pick from, but the minute you do one or too many of like a certain franchise, it just gets lopsided. And there's still a lot of like human, real life characters that they are still missing. Still missing Lord of the Rings, which new series of Lord of the Rings, something is coming out. I imagine that a character is coming. What's up?
Yeah, you could have Frodo. You could have there's just a lot of different characters in that universe too. No, that's what's going to be interesting with this. Because they can either break their game or make it more interesting with this, right, Rod? Like, we've seen it before where DLC can ruin fighting games.
I assume they're gonna if they go the route of it being a balance situation where they're choosing new characters to add based off of the balance of the game, then that's going to be how you determine like who's going to get and when.
I guarantee everything being considered for this game is being carefully weighed and measured, because they want this to be a successful game as a service that lasts for years and years, and you can't just throw out, a ton of new characters unbalanced and have OP shit, whatever. Yeah, this is going to be, like you said, it's going to be very carefully, not just as far as like how the characters act and how strong they are, but which IPs they're from as well. Yeah, all of that will be definitely carefully weighed.
And I've been talking to devs just kind of behind the scenes, not necessarily just about this style of game, but the concept of a game as a service and how publishers view them. You have to have a year or two of content planned out before you launch a game like this. Yeah. So I think that there is a calendar out there.
I'm sure.
I know there have been leaks and stuff, but like there is a calendar out there that shows you this roadmap. And I guarantee it goes at least 2 years right now. So this game is going to... A year from now, this game's going to look super different than it does right now. Now, once again, compare that to Smash Ultimate. It's done. There are no more balance patches. It's done. That game's done. This Multiversus launch is coming maybe at the perfect time. Like, you got to give WB credit for launching this when they are launching it. Because... Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, they announced that, and then next week Nintendo sweep the leg with Sora, right?
That's right.
Well, yeah, not only did they sweep their leg, but they also, I guess they felt like they needed to release the game as a half-finished turd, because that's what they ended up doing.
They made money.
Just to get it out there.
They made money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they got their money.
They're like, we need to make our money on this now.
Yeah.
And they did.
They pulled that lever, where like Multiversus has almost been really slowly, patiently planning this. And
I wouldn't be surprised if they lose money on Multiversus for a little while.
Yeah, at launch maybe. But like I think ultimately it'll make money. Because the grind is a grind. You don't make in-game currency that fast. Like, I like that it's there, but you do have to grind to do that. And obviously paying, it's not a pay to win scenario, but you are paying to unlock.
Yeah.
And that does speed up your enjoyability of the game a little bit.
Folks who want those skins, they'll be hitting up mommy and daddy for a couple of those extra game bucks.
Those multiverse bucks. I need those multiverse bucks.
I'm just cheap. And like it took me like 4 years of playing Rocket League before I was like, fine, I'll buy a season pass. Maybe next year I will have bought something with actual currency in Multiversus. I also don't really care about in-game cosmetics, which is what a lot of the things locked behind the paywall are just costumes and stuff.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Or, ring out animations and stuff, which I do like. I like that. I like these little... That's why I wanted to get it. The attention to detail in this game is... It's noticeable all over the place. from the character design, the level design, the sound design, the voice acting, and even the menus are really good. I think they nailed it.
I think the main menu is kind of a sloppy mess. It's very game as a service-y.
Once you're in, like that. I mean, the presentation of like that versus screen. I think that looks really. And then the loop that keeps you in it if you can rematch or not. Yeah, sure. You can't like pause in game right now. There's some weird things going on there, but yeah, like I think that the presentation is really good. I should say.
This is beta right now. Like, think about other games we had in beta and what they look like.
Oh, I mean, they purposefully made sure that when they came out with this open beta in quotation marks, that this is really just a play test. And I mean, this really open betas now are more of a final product much more of a final product than the term used to mean back in the day. Because back in the day, a beta was something that you really did, put out to test before your game went gold, and you had to, ship that actual code.
Does anyone know when this game comes out?
You don't even have to do that.
It's like
August? I believe August. Yeah, I believe towards, I guess, after EVO.
Yeah, I don't know if they have an exact date. I think
there's no release date anywhere. I looked for like an hour.
Even on
on the release. That's also.
I think they're just planning on transitioning the open beta just into full release.
No, but I think there's going to be a patch. Like, I think there will be a patch. And, like, to your point, like, okay, a Call of Duty beta is bullshit. There is no such thing as a Call of Duty beta.
No, this
actually does feel like a beta, though, because they opened. It was a closed beta the first week, and they were clearly doing scale testing. They had issues that first day, right? And now they're opening it up to the public next week, or this week, or tomorrow. And, like, I really do think they are listening to people, and there may be balances. There may be a balance patch before 1.0 drops.
Oh, I think there'll be at least one or two balance patches, like small things, like you're saying, just tweaks to certain characters, tweak to certain damage values, tweaks to certain, how far you fly on certain things.
Knockback.
Things like that. Well, knockback.
Rod, can we talk about the knockback, Rod? It's kind of
okay. It's interesting. There are moves where, and again, I play a tank. I know we talked in Slack earlier about how bad the tanks can be, and I'm doing this neutral strongs, with Wonder Woman, 100+%. And I'm like, this is not killing people. But then Harley Quinn's up tilt with the bat kills me super early. I'm like,
yep.
The knockback is very weird in this game, and just sometimes in a way that I don't really like. It's not a miss because again, they're still fixing and patching stuff, but I'm like.
I'm killing people, Rod. I'm killing people, Rod, with Shaggy's kick, and they got 40. That's all they got, 40 damage. I'm able to kick the shit out of them.
Well, people might not be KBIing. I noticed how they
influence is nothing like Smash. The DI is nothing KBI like Smash.
Instead of DI, they went out. They definitely went out of their way to make sure it's not DI. It's knockback influence.
Well, whatever. Their DI sucks compared to Smash. It doesn't do shit. And I shouldn't look. I love being a Shaggy main, and please don't nerf his kick, but do something about the knockback because this is ridiculous. And it's true with Bug's bat too, Rod. That the neutral up on Bugs. I'm doing the same thing you're talking about. If you have 60 damage, I can knock you out. That doesn't make any damn sense to me. Like, because I'll have 100. And someone does that to me, and I'm DIing, and I don't die. And I'm like, what the hell? This doesn't make any damn sense.
So last night, I actually played Harley Quinn for the first time in a long time. I waited too long on the character select screen. I was, sending a message, and I accidentally ended up playing Harley. And so I'm just, messing around with her, and I got it right away. I'm like, I understand why people like this character. I'm working very hard with Wonder Woman to get nothing, essentially. I mean, I'm pretty much playing Wonder Woman because I like Wonder Woman as a character. And she has her pros, particularly, of course, in 2v2s when she needs to be the tank. Yeah. But, I played Harley just 1 or 2 matches, and I was like, oh, my God, this is a completely different world. The Harley Quinn, Bugs Bunny, Shaggy world is so different from some of the other characters. It's crazy.
I'm glad you brought up the 1v1 meta and the 2v2 meta, Rod. Do you think this game has a place in esports as a 1v1 game?
Nah, you know what? I actually was talking to my roommate about this. He's been streaming a shit ton of multiverses, like way more than I've been playing. And he brought up like he thinks the stages are too big for what the game asks for you or from you in a 1v1. So like, could you imagine two Velmas, like a Velma, like a Jake or something, just two characters not approaching each other on a big old ass stage, and you're just opposite corners. Like, we need more 1v1 centric stages. And I just don't think we have that yet. I do think that there is a place for it, but I just don't think it's going to be as important as the 2v2. Multiversus finally did it right. They did what all the other platformers couldn't, which was make a 2v2 centric game. And I've tried a few 1v1 sets, and it just feels like, I don't want to talk bad about Multiversus, guys, but 1v1 feels a little redundant. It feels like attack, and then I die.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's very buttony, and then I just dodge through everything, and nobody really approaches. In 2v2s, we have to approach. Somebody has to, you know, find that line in the sand and then jump over it. But in 1v1,
you're not gonna camp in 2v2.
Yeah. No, you can't. Don't do it.
Yeah. No. But to be fair to the game, they clearly are marketing this as a 2v2 game. It incentivizes you to matchmake with a partner because you get more XP when you do it. It feels like the characters themselves, this is kind of the question I was leading into, it feels like the character roster was built with 2v2 in mind. Is that fair to say?
Definitely was.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those characters are just have no place in a 1v1 situation, right? Like, a lot of the support and tank characters just in 1v1 just would be so low tier. Why would you? They would never get picked.
Rod,
what
Smash game has or had a vibrant 2v2? Was it Melee?
Well, I mean, vibrant just in terms of like people wanting to play it, or vibrant in terms of
like at any time where there are actual 2v2 tournaments being held in this esport. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like 64 for a hot second, and then I do remember some Brawl, but
Project M was pretty good in the 2v2 sets.
Yeah, but Project M and Brawl.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that in between era.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just curious because like this is where Multiversus really sticks out to me. Like, it is a very interesting 2v2 fighting game. My question, Rod, you know Smashers, and it seems like Smashers are going to be a large part of this player base. They're very individual. Are they going to play nice together? Is this going to work? Or fighting games and platform fighting games, by an extension, are they an individual esport? Like, is this something... Because there's like an ego element to being a fighting game player, right? Like, you think you're the best. But when you're in a 2v2 match, well, you could blame your teammate for this, you know? So I'm curious if you think how they're going to handle that.
If there's going to be any community that's going to uplift and also in that same turn of breath of ruin this game from a community standard, we know it's going to be Smash. And I'm saying that as somebody who's in it. I can already see the signs. You know, Smash just have a very interesting take when it comes to grinding, especially Ultimate babies. Maybe not so much Melee and some of like the Brawl guys, but for sure 4 and Ultimate. The generation of player now is like, they take like losses. Like, so first and foremost, they hate doubles because they feel like doubles, when they get their ass beat in doubles, is some sort of reflection of who they are in singles. I played doubles with somebody moderately good to 2 players, and they're just like, I can't play this game, man. I suck. You know, my life is in shambles. Like, they just start to spiral out of control. You know, they can't handle doubles because it feels like, oh, if I'm bad at doubles, then I'm bad at
there he is.
But then, like, also, so like when it comes to grinding in doubles, they don't play their mains. They don't play like combinations of characters and stuff that they want to practice with the bracket. They play joke characters because they have some sort of mental stigma on them losing in friendlies with their mains, and they just want to have fun and they want to do shit like that. Or like fighting game players are like, we're going to run our mains 30 sets in a row if we got to. And even other platform fighters. But to your point, though, I feel like if any scene is going to give Multiversus in its small infant set stage right now, without like all the other games in it, just as it is right now, if there's going to be any scene that's going to give it problems, it's going to be Ultimate. So hopefully Ultimate can shape up. I know we don't have the best, track record with shaping up when we need to, but I'd like to see Multiversus as a community thrive. And between the Discord servers, how receptive the community managers and the developers have been, the interviews, the content out there, like, this community, Multiverse definitely deserves all the support it gets. So, Ultimate, if you're listening to this, do not fuck this one up, okay? Don't do it.
I just want to say that there should be like a process where Multiversus is becoming a community. And that's going to be what ends up being what the game thrives on. Is that there, you get a mixture of the FGC crowd, the Smash crowd, everyone else coming in and making the community into something that's new, but also going to thrive because it's healthy and positive. And people are actually putting in the time and effort, but they're also not being scumbags. A mixture of all those things happening. This is a brand new, a clean slate here, right? Basically, right now, the build from the ground up.
Like there is an opportunity for some. I'm not saying anyone's going to do this, but there's an opportunity for people in the Smash scene to leave and join Multiverses.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, and I don't mean this just from a player standpoint. I mean this from a content creator standpoint. I mean this from a caster standpoint. Like, I think there's an opportunity here for the scene to look, and to Denny's point, to bring in people together, because it's not Nintendo. Like, there is a different demographic that you're appealing to with this game. Just from the sheer platforms that's available on, right? So, like, and obviously there's overlap between people who own Switch and people who own all these other hardware devices, but I think that right there is the opportunity, is that a lot of Smash players are Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to see a Spargo or someone come out of thin air in the Multiversus online scene that ends up being one of the best players in the world that no one had heard of before. So that's my hope, at least.
Well, I think we'll see a team come out to be the best Multiversus team, because I think what will happen before we move on, because we definitely have to move on. We got so much show left to get into and not a lot of time left to do it. But I knew this topic was going to dominate today. I think what will happen is we'll kind of see maybe like a flip-flop of the double singles dichotomy that happened in Smash, where doubles did have, kind of a strong vocal minority that championed for it, that really liked it, that tried to get doubles tournaments going, but that didn't really take place. And singles just was always so dominant, always just the main driver of the game, the main focus of the meta. That's what, ended up becoming just what people play. I think that will be the reverse in Multiversus. I think we will see a subset of players coming over from other games, namely Smash, who are very vocally for the 1v1 gameplay, and that's just what they want to play because they feel like it's a true representation of a player's skill, a more pure game and everything like that.
Matter when the money's in something else, though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I think there will be like maybe this small contingent of people who like to play Multiversus singles, but the main majority, the main focus, the tournaments, the money, the draw is all going to be around duos. And I think that, we will see these dominant teams coming together and forming for duos Multiverses. But I don't think singles is going to be the popular moneymaker. That
maybe I'm just old, but I remember Melee having a doubles scene.
I definitely it did.
Yeah, I mean, we just interviewed, Homemade Waffles not so long ago. And, we had the Happy Feet thing playing while he was, talking and stuff. And, there definitely is a double scene. In fact, they even tried to do a double circuit. One of the few early circuits that tried to do a thing in the community before the two that we have now stepped in. But they did what was called Fuse. And for a short, very brief period of time, players actually synced up on a regular basis. And it was almost a fun thing to see. But it just didn't last, though, because... Smash is sometimes just consistent.
Just one last thing real quick about this. Multiversus matches, Rod, fast, right?
Pretty fast.
Is that going to be weird in an esports format?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. TK brought up a point, too, where he said, most platform fighters have a pretty solid, stock count versus, the timer on the clock idea in mind. And then, of course, as the meta develops, they either slow it down or things speed up a little bit. Then they kind of tweak it from there. Because, Brawl, we did 3 stocks. But then in Smash 4, we only did 2. But then in Ultimate, now we're doing 3 again, thinking that it was a faster game. When in reality, the Ultimate isn't much faster competitively than Smash 4 was. But I think, I do think the matches go a little quick. And I'd like there to be one more stock. And I'm saying this from the perspective of a player. Like, I don't mind as a commentator spending just a little bit more time breaking something down, because if I'm commentating like Tekken or like Dragon Ball Fighters, like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I'm like, okay, boom, 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 boom. That not really much to break down. But Multiversus, there's a lot of shit flying around and everything's happening at once. I need just a little bit of time to just dive in on something.
Also,
and,
like you don't get like a reverse sweep as often. It's not that exciting to see a 2-stock reverse sweep.
Yeah,
you know? Like a 3-stock reverse sweep
the
is
first one.
Yeah. I think that's something I've noticed just playing it. I'm like, damn, these matches are fast. Like,
I think they will add another stock.
Yeah, I think that's something that
play anyways.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see the rules for this Evo tournament, because they haven't disclosed all the rules yet. So
I think the rules are pretty close to what we see now in the game, unfortunately,
because it's so close to the beta.
Yeah,
but once again, like, this game is going to be around a year from now, and I have no doubt that it's going to be the platform fighter at Evo next year. So, like, I'm really curious to see where, like, I don't know, there was like a fan tournament this weekend, right? Are we seeing TOs use altered rule sets yet or anything, or is this just too early?
I think it's still a little too early. I have seen them try to apply some different rule sets. Like, I think the one or two I did had, like, I want to say maybe slightly different stage variations, but for the most part, like, everything was still like, you know, the stock count or the ring out count technically, and then of course the same timer on the clock. But
yeah, that's the other thing. Shared stocks.
Yeah, that's weird. It's kind of, I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know if I'm a fan of that, actually. You know, I just didn't think about that. I'm not a fan of that, really.
Yeah, it's a very different thing than how 2v2 Smash plays. And because you can have those, like, rubber band moments where, like, I don't know, you have Leo and Gluttony are playing together, right? And Gluttony gets knocked out, but Leo's still there, and he ends up kicking the crap out of the other two people. Now, when you have one player lose 4 stocks, the other good player disappears. Like, that kind of sucks. I'll be honest with you.
It's gonna really force teams to, like we were saying, they're really gonna have to work together. Like, teams are going to have to be so in sync in this game, much more than I think has been required of fighting game duos before.
And then, yeah, they need to penalize people who say yes to rematches and then instantly quit. Because then that leaves me hanging in the menu for like 3 minutes, and it bothers me. Because 3 minutes, I could have played another match in that time.
You could play 2.
I mean, honestly, how fast the matches go, you could have played a couple matches in 3 minutes with how fast the game goes.
It is really fast. So, like, that's the thing at Evo that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Like, they're like, yeah, we're going to have 2 days for this. I'm like, well, okay.
With how fast the matches are going, yeah.
I could probably do this in one evening in Vegas, but, you know, go for it, guys. Good luck. And, yeah, good luck to those TOs. I applaud anyone who's doing this right now. You're, like, at the very edge of an esport being born, and these people are going to be the ones making mistakes that people learn from. So just remember that these brave TOs deserve your respect and love for what they're doing. Don't hate on them if there's anything.
This is the rule set we'll all look back on and laugh when we're like, oh, could you believe they ran this rule set at the first Evo?
But it's a very different vibe, Brian, than when Nickelodeon launched. Like, Nickelodeon, that game I played one time on stream, and then I deleted it.
Dude, that game was a wet fart. It launched with nothing.
Yeah, it was terrible on that end. Everything, like, the presentation and everything leading into Multiversus has been night and day.
Excellent.
There's just no comparison, really.
But yeah, props to the devs and props to the people playing it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Let's move on, because we got like half an hour left and still so much show. We got like more than half the show to get into. So real quick, let's remind all the people the quickest way to support us right here is to keep watching, keep liking, keep following. Make sure you're followed to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure if you have a active Amazon Prime subscription, link it up to your Twitch account, get that Prime Gaming, and then you can kick us that free sub every single month. Keep Rod looking so fresh and so clean over there. Yes. If you also just have $5 spare, you could also just kick them our way with a regular sub. We take those too. We take the Bezos bucks. We take the regular subs. We take them all. We use those to keep all of this great content coming your way all week long. Lots of different shows, a huge variety. Don't even have enough time to go into all of them. But if you miss them here, you can check them out over on YouTube, where we have 2 channels, Shacknews Games, Gamer Hub Videos. Go check out both of those. Subscribe to both of them, and then you won't miss a thing when we post it over there. You'll also get access to thousands of hours of exclusive content, all kinds of reviews, previews, developer interviews, tons of great stuff. Make sure you check it out. Greg Berkeltenberg's been working very hard on it. I'm sure he would like it if you put a like on it as well. Maybe even leave a nice comment. He reads them, I guarantee it. But also, if you like what you're seeing, if you want to talk about it, make sure you shout out about it on your social media platforms of choice, like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're all over all of those. You can find us at Shacknews on Twitter, at Shacknews on Facebook, Shacknews Media on Instagram. Denny Von Doom is the one holding down all of those. He's keeping everything nice and fresh for all of us. Make sure you go give him a shout out, give him a quote, tweet, a retweet, a follow, all that good stuff. And then you can check out our social media platform. That is Shack Pets, our own app that you can download for free. Doesn't cost anything. It's on the iOS App Store, on the Google Play Store. It's a way for you to interact with the Shack News community at large through your pets or through their pets. You can just view the feed of pet pictures, scroll through all the cute pets, and get a nice hit of dopamine for your day. Or you can upload pictures of your pets and actually get competitive, challenge other people's pets, vote for the cutest picture, determine who is the cutest pet of all, and battle for the join the battle in the supreme pet cuteness. It's a great way to just spend 5 minutes. It's a great way to interact with other people. It's a great way to have a really positive way to use the internet and just share a lot of cute pet pictures, because in the end, that's all we want to see, right? That's all anybody wants to see.
The main goal was to create a repository for cute pet pictures. That was it. And to focus people on it and to give them new ways to interact with it. Because there are studies that show that looking at pet pictures every day is actually good for mental health. And
that's a great way to do it.
That's why the app was built.
And then we took it, we gamified it, we made it so you can win Shack News if you use the app. Just by scrolling through the feed, just by voting, you can earn points, but you earn a lot more by uploading pictures of your pets and challenging other people. Once your pets are challenged and automatically get entered into battles, you'll just start earning points by doing nothing, just by having the pictures in the system. It's that easy. We'll talk more about winning Shack News for the week, but we got to get into the rest of the show, because we really got to get it down. So let's break it down, everybody. Let's talk about. Yeah, no, we're doing it. We're gonna hit them all, and we're gonna do them real quick. Let's talk about the Red Bull Subway Showdown, the city and state of New York, breaking down into 6 teams. Rod, I know you were really hyped to watch this one. So we had Team Manhattan, Team Brooklyn, Team Queens, Team Bronx, Team Long Island, and then New York State and Connecticut also getting some representation.
Wait, the rest of the state and Connecticut?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, but not Jersey. Fuck you, Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey.
Wait. Whoa.
No love for Jersey. Connecticut gets in on this?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
What kind of whitewash shit is this? Oh, sorry.
We got subways in New Jersey. That's all I'm saying.
You got the path. You got the path.
I didn't make the rules for this. You got to get with your boys at Red Bull on this. All right.
Get Bam on the phone.
I'm about to call Bam. I'm 1-800-BAM is coming.
1-800 call Bam. Don't
so yes, I think the big news out of this tournament is that Upstate and Connecticut gets representation, but the Philadelphia and New Jersey part of the tri-state area gets nothing.
Yeah, that seems
it's very strange. We have quite a few subway systems, but to break down the teams really quick, Manhattan team captain was I'm Your Space Boy. Brooklyn's was NY Tate. if I'm saying that right.
Sega.
Queens was the champion, Idom, which people definitely thought were gonna. A lot of people had him slated to win. This is his second one. Bronx Fight Coach Fight, and Long Island had Shine, NYC, New York State, and Connecticut had Tristan Profit. Excess Idom won twice, two-time champion, making his team Idom, NYC Furby, and J Rush the winners.
Representing Queens.
This is SF5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got to get a little bit of that SF5 out of our system. There's still a little bit left.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
There's a little bit more at Evo, and then I think we're done.
We want the bragging rights,
and then that's it. And then we can say goodbye.
No, this is good. You want to have these in that final year of the esports, so you can have bragging rights. I like crew battles like this, though.
Yeah, crew battles are great, and I think this is really cool. I have family in Queens, so yeah, this is really neat. I'm glad that the Queens team won. I would like to see this for more regions, like a SoCal showdown, a NorCal showdown, a Midwest showdown, stuff like that. That would be really neat.
No one in SoCal is actually from SoCal.
Oh, that's true.
Nor do they know anything about subways either, at all.
I can't believe New Jersey got disrespected like this, Rod. That's crazy.
I don't get it. Like, we're just right there. We're just right across.
Wild. That's wild. Like, there's no one in the SF
disrespect.
Scene. Maybe there's no one good in the SF scene there.
But Connecticut, does Connecticut have all of these? Like,
Connecticut has a vibrant
Connecticut just has this vibrant SF5 scene.
Yes, there's definitely some killers in Philly. So even if
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a little bit sketch.
I guess there's just.
It is.
I got it at first. I was looking at it. I'm like, okay, it's the boroughs, and then it's like the rest of the state of New York and Connecticut. I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch. It's like boroughs versus the entire state.
I wonder which player was from the Hamptons coming down and playing.
I don't know.
All right.
But props to Street Fighter V for still existing.
Props to IDOM, New York City for me, and J Rush. Yeah, props to all of them for winning this Subway Showdown. Props to Red Bull for
Red Bull carrying esports.
Yeah, hosting another successful event. And let's move on though, because we're just gonna keep moving. Through them. Let's get on to this wild story, this real life sports story that is kind of esports because
it's electronic sports. It involves a freaking robot.
It's a robot, exactly. And chess has made the transition from real life sport to esport quite successfully. Actually, we talked about that on the show a few months ago. Actually, but yes, there's a chess robot in Moscow that has broken a 7-year-old boy's finger. The robot, quoting Sergei Lazarev, the robot broke the child's finger. This is, of course, bad.
What an amazing ruling by the president of the Chess Federation in Moscow. I don't understand. This is, of course, bad.
It's a dangerous version of the Queen's Gambit. Out of control.
This goes back to last week when we were covering Tesla's earnings, Denny. like Tesla's becoming it's rising machine Skynet. It's already happening. How does this happen?
This should not be able to happen. There should be safeguards.
If you believe in Asimov's principles of robotics, this should not have happened. So either this robot was built without the first do no harm rule, or they've created Russian chess death robots.
Listen,
that title alone
is the rise of the machines. They talked about this in Terminator 3. For all of us that's seen that film, all right. No, you can't get that 2 hours of your life back. But listen, there's a lot to take away from that. All right. First of all, yes, it is a parody of the second film. All right. Number 2, okay, it did prophesize that you cannot get rid of Judgment Day. It is inevitable. Okay, you can only keep postponing it, but you can only postpone the inevitable sometimes. Look, they programmed these robots to attack people. This is Judgment Day. This is the start of it, friends. It's happening in Russia, right? This was a planned attack, and it's only going to get scarier from here.
Was the robot just upset because he didn't make the right move, or was he trying to cheat? What's going on?
Well, did the robot's computer vision misinterpret the finger as a piece?
No, I believe. Yeah. So what happened was the robot So the robot took a piece. Robot captured a piece. The boy goes to make a move, but before the boy can remove his hand from the piece, the robot goes in to grab it. So the robot was like, "Okay, you're done moving that piece. I'm grabbing that shit right now." So it looks like.
Why did it take us so long to stop this machine too? They all just kind of were like, "What the hell?"
It definitely should not have happened. There should be some kind of contact sensor or something to where if it hits your skin that it breaks off, or there should be some kind of hard stop just immediately to get it to lift. But yeah, it really looked like there just wasn't much of a delay between the boy making his move and then the robot going in to make its next move. So they really needed
out there. This Russia country maybe shouldn't be trusted.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. No, Mr. Lazarev said the machine has played many previous matches without incident. So I don't know what. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Rod. What's considered an incident? Nobody died. Hey, nobody's died. All right.
Yeah, everything's a happy little accident over there, right?
Also, why do we need robots? Going back to the whole point that you made earlier, that chess is kind of crossing over into an esport. You can create an AI that can play the video game. Why do we even need robots that play chess anymore?
I assume you're old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember how the man versus the machine in chess has been a long evolving story in games journalism, right? Like,
Kasparov
going all the way back to Kasparov, going all the way. But it's always been, there was never a robot involved. It was just the computer deciding the moves.
You input the move. The computer AI says, "I'm going to make this move," and you can make what? It's like 4 letters to say what move you're doing next. Yeah. So it's like not hard to program that into a computer. The robot is unnecessary here, and I go back to that they're creating. I just wouldn't trust these robots. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't trust the makers of these robots, and I don't think we need to do this. It's solving problems that don't exist.
Yeah. Why do we need the robot to move the chess piece? Yeah. There are magnetic boards that move the pieces on their own.
Yep. There are so many ways you could have done this with AI and other solutions for moving the pieces. So this is clearly what?
The robots at Chuck E. Cheese. All right, those robots we thought we threw away, they're coming back. The Disneyland robots, Disney World robots, Belle and Gaston and all of them, they'll become self-aware soon. They're tired of singing songs. They're tired of dancing.
Wasn't there a Nick Cage movie like this?
There's just too many opportunities for something to go wrong with something like this, right? Like, there's just, like, I have worked at jobs with machinery where the machinery, if you're not careful, you could crush your hand by having your hand in it. And you don't keep your hand by that. You just don't. Like, this was designed to be used near people's hands. Like, this is dumb. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is just a stupid
right back to
idea.
the Tesla discussion about the liability of sex robots. Yeah, this is why it's you're gonna have to sign a waiver if you're gonna be using one of those.
Absolutely,
you're gonna have a digital check mark.
Let's move on. Let's move on and report about the thing we all want to talk about. You know what it is. It's a kind of digital Dungeons and Dragons with laser battles. Yes, Overwatch League.
What? Oh, God.
That's right. We got to talk a little bit about Overwatch League.
It's not on the rundown.
It is. It's News Story 6, right after the chess robot. The winningest team in a kind of digital Dungeons and Dragons with laser battles loses the Overwatch League Mid-Season Madness tournament.
News Story 6?
Oh,
yep.
You might have the old run of show. Let me say it to you real quick.
Never mind. Continue.
Yeah. We are talking. No, I know you don't want to talk about Overwatch League, but we are talking about it.
Hey, I love talking about Overwatch League.
We do. So the winningest team, the San Francisco Shock, actually lost the Mid-Season Madness by committing a C9. That's right. The one of the most unforgivable sins in Overwatch. It is coined this because Cloud9 notoriously lost one of the very first Overwatch tournaments by just not playing the objective. They just didn't play the objective. This is an objective-based game. It has a payload. If you're defending the payload, you need to be there defending it. If you're pushing the payload, you need to be there pushing it.
Yep.
You telling me the San Francisco Shock forgot what mode they were playing?
I guess so. Well, they're all objective-based modes.
Stars, you know? They wanted to show their gameplay there. So
I guess
playing
they forgot what game they were playing.
Yes. So in the middle of almost playing a 0-3 comeback, they managed to ruin their own hype by not playing the objective.
And they lost to the LA Gladiators?
They lost to the LA Gladiators.
Wow.
The Gladiators.
So there's coaches for these teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There are
Who
coaches.
do you
Multiple
blame
coaches
here?
sometimes.
Do you blame the players? Do you blame the coaches? Do you blame the person who bought the stupid team to begin with for $35 million?
I think top to bottom, you blame it all. I think the blame starts at the top and it rolls all the way down to the bottom.
Shock we're talking about. The Shock, they're like one of the best teams in this league.
Like team in the league.
They go to the finals. They win. You know, like this is
caught slipping.
This is like the equivalent of the LA Lakers just forgetting to play the last 2 minutes of the game.
This is like they just like when J.R. Smith didn't realize he could have just laid the ball up, and then he, the rest. The rest. Rod's got it.
Yeah.
But this is wow. That's terrible.
It's not great.
Super embarrassing. Yeah, and
because first of all, you dedicate your life to playing Overwatch, which is already embarrassing. But then like you screw up on a national stage like this, like that's doubly embarrassing.
Yeah. It's not like you got outplayed. It's not like you got, tilted.
Real head scratches right there.
If you knew what you were doing, you would have won. And he would have had an amazing comeback. Like, wow.
Yeah, comeback ruined.
That's just crazy.
Lower level team.
I don't feel bad for them either.
You can see in the B-roll behind when the Gladiators won. They couldn't believe it. They all got up and were jumping up and down like they just won the Super Bowl because they couldn't believe that they got this.
Well, no offense to the Gladiators, they're no San Francisco Shock. Like they haven't made they haven't had the track record. They've never really been a top tier team. So that's a huge W for them. They celebrate it. But
get that on the prize.
Wow, that's like. It's like Mike McCarthy from the Cowboys was coaching this team or something. I really have to blame someone behind the scenes here that could have. I don't know how the coaching works at this event. Like if you're able,
when you're playing the game,
your players or not.
In the heat of the game, when you're playing the game, it is easy to lose your focus, to be concentrated on like trying to get this last kill, trying to secure this last area. It is the job of the coach to keep that broad overview of everything, of all your players, and make sure that they are where they are supposed to be.
This makes me feel better about how the troubles I have watching Overwatch League, because now I know that the players don't even know what's going on. Because I maintain this is one of the worst first-person shooters from a spectator standpoint, maybe ever. Like, if you listen to what they're saying right now, there's a British guy screaming rapidly about something. And then they show you these like bird's eye view of rooms and there's like people jumping and, lasers and whatever, Dungeons and Dragons like Bryan mentioned. But
there's Christmas diarrhea lights all over the screen and you're like, oh, okay, that was a thing that happened.
So it makes me feel better that not only are spectators confused, but like some of the best players in the world are confused. But that sucks. I feel bad for the players, but at the same time, someone on that team needs to have an attention to detail.
They were there. They were there playing. Somebody should have made some moves. I mean,
it's payload too, right? Like it was the payload.
Yeah. You push.
That's like the most obvious mode.
The cart. You push the cart, or you defend the cart.
That is a very obvious mode.
Yeah, San Francisco were defending. They were defending the payload, so all they needed to do was be in front of the payload. They just weren't
look at how many players are on the payload here. It's just cruising.
And there's nobody around. There's no San Francisco Shock. They're the orange team. So they're
one comes out and gets destroyed.
Wait, there's literally no one stopping them at all.
There's nobody. Yeah, there's just no one there.
Wow, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And then they win. Boom. That's it. All right.
Really
we got to move on. Congratulations to the LA Gladiators for getting that win over the San Francisco Shock. Congratulations to the Overwatch League for having a mid-season madness and still existing. We'll see how long we'll have to keep
it's
talking
going to be
about
around for a while. These teams, the current payback rate,
money.
I believe it's like 200 years to make your money back. So we're gonna be playing Overwatch League well beyond all of our debts.
Dynasties formed for Overwatch League. It's going to be the next baseball.
That chess robot learn how to play Overwatch.
All right, let's move on to a happier story, better tournament, maybe. Who knows? It's from the HCS. That's the Halo Championship Series. Had a tournament in Mexico City with a Mexican and Colombian rostered team representing the Knights of Pittsburgh, winning the entire thing. They got the lion's share of that $50,000 prize pool. Congratulations to them. From the shots and everything, looks like a really cool tournament. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't know. I've heard of Knights GG before. I knew that they were a Pittsburgh-based tournament. I lived in Pittsburgh for a little while. I didn't know that they had a South American-based team, though. No. And that South American team had the chops to win a tournament on their own in Mexico City. So, yeah, congrats to them. They actually got a bracket reset in order to pull this off, which is always cool to hear about. I always like to see more HCS successfully going down. Although I feel like with the money some of these prize pools have had, the Mexico City tournament, they could have done better than $50,000.
Yeah. Also, I just have a quick question. This guy in this picture here, I don't know if we're looking at this. Oh, we're not looking at the same picture. Sorry. I'm on your Twitter feed right now. I'm just looking at this guy dressed up in the Master Chief costume. I'm just like, Master Chief is a big-ass dude. This is a little guy in this Master Chief. It's a sick costume. Sorry. It's just been bothering me since I've seen it today. Like, needs to be a taller guy. Sorry.
You can't height check the Master Chief cosplayer, all right? You can't help how tall he is.
The costume is just like, damn, like I thought. Sorry.
I had no idea, Rod.
It's just been on the back of my mind all day.
How tall are you, Rod?
I'm 6'2".
6'2"?
Yeah.
Rod's gonna go to Comic-Con and see like the sickest Master Chief cosplay. Like, that's a really dope cosplay, but you're like, what? 5'6", 5'7"? Sorry,
cosplayers work really hard on their costumes and build them themselves most of the time. So they probably was built to their measurements. So you're just
I'm just.
If only you were tall. Sorry.
It's funny because he's just standing
Why you gotta hate
short
people?
I bet he wishes he was a little bit taller, Rod.
And I'm taller than you, Rod, and I'm saying that.
It's true. It's true. Sorry, it just was kind of funny. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys.
No, it's all good. We learned your true self here.
Whoever you are, Master Chief cosplayer in Mexico City who went to the HCS tournament this weekend, I commend you.
Yeah,
you keep doing your thing.
It was probably hot in that costume.
It was probably hot as fuck.
You know what I mean?
I believe, yeah, definitely.
It's no way that it was hot as hell in Canton this weekend. I can't imagine what it was like in Mexico City, but that's a story for another day.
All right,
I'm happy to see Halo still being played. That's impressive.
The game still needs to be fixed. I know you got problems with it. Everybody's got problems with it.
I'm done talking about its problems.
Yeah, exactly. we don't have time to talk about its problems because you know what? That's going to wrap up the Wide World of Electronic Sports episode 142 for
I got into the co-op flight, by the way, so there's that.
Nice. There you go. I actually want to try that co-op out. Let's talk about a little bit of sauce talk real quick. We got a couple minutes. We'll get into just a wee bit of sauce talk.
Okay.
Let's talk about this thing that looks disgusting launching out of KFC in Singapore. They're launching a Flossie original recipe chicken porridge. So it's a chicken porridge with Flossie chicken on top. And I didn't know what that was at first, but I guess it's like you know what pork rinds are, like chicharrones or pork rinds. So it's like if you just ground that up into really thin shavings.
This isn't a string that I clean my teeth with that tastes like chicken. I'm out.
It's like the cotton candy of chicken skin.
I thought they figured out a way to make me enjoy flossing, but now I'm out.
No.
Also, what the hell, Singapore? Why are you always doing this weird shit over there?
On top of porridge, too. I don't want your chicken porridge.
Chicken porridge.
What the hell is this? Of course you want to try it. Ross always wants to try this.
Like,
What's this, Oliver Twist?
I'll try it.
Please, sir.
Please, sir.
I got no more comments on that.
Porridge, sir.
Please, sir. I beg of you, sir.
Just a little more chicken floss, sir. I just want a little more chicken floss.
Yeah,
But sir, it's so cold.
No, I want to talk about this McDonald's story.
Yeah, all right. So, yeah,
All right.
but on the opposite side of the disgusting thing, McDonald's is launching a new Bosong green tea pork burger in South Korea. Now, Bosong pork is pigs that are fed a diet of fermented green tea. So it's kind of like I guess it's like the Wagyu beef of pork. Like they only live on a certain diet of something to make. I don't know if it would make it taste better or not. I would try this sandwich, though. I would try the hell out of that sandwich.
Dogs raised on fermented green tea.
Yeah.
I don't understand this world anymore.
There's some fine dining at McDonald's for you right there. You know.
Like what?
Yeah.
First off, they're getting a pork burger. Like that's at McDonald's in the first place.
That's the headline. That there's a pork burger. Right.
We got the McRib.
And then I thought, oh, okay, there's gonna be some weird green tea flavoring. No. The pork was raised on fermented green tea. Also, what the hell is fermented green tea?
Yeah, what is that?
Rotten green tea.
Rotten?
No, not really, but fermented.
But like, is it like kimchi of green tea? Is that what we're talking about?
It's like the spoiled version of green tea, you know.
I mean, there is a lot of vegetable
It's good.
on this
It's
sandwich,
good.
you know. So that's something.
Yeah, there are quite a bit. There are quite a few vegetables there. It looks like it's going to be $4.81 for the sandwich, which seems a little steep.
That seems about right. Compared
Korea.
to what, I guess for Korea it seems steep, but if it was in America, that would also seem about right. Yeah, it does look good though. I like the onion, I like the tomato, I like all of it. I like everything on there.
Is this misleading? Because there is no actual green tea in this burger.
I guess if you know what Bosong is, if you know about this pork already, then it's not misleading.
So is this supposed to be viewed as a high quality pork?
That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it looks good. I just don't know if it's going to taste.
Well, it's only in South Korea.
And green tea is really fucking my brain up right now.
No, like,
I bet it tastes dope.
Every day. If you cooked up an Osif burger, it would not taste like green tea. You know what I mean? Like, it'll taste like human. This is going to taste like pork. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, it's pork, but it's still
like tastes like grass. You know, grass-fed beef tastes like beef. It doesn't taste like grass.
Exactly. There's still bacon and everything else on here. I mean, I feel like
there's that too.
It's going to be
there's cabbage on it too.
So is the bacon also? Is it Busan bacon?
I don't know. Maybe.
But I think it's kind of misleading to call it a green tea pork burger.
All right, do we even have time to get into this last sauce talk option? Or
what is the last sauce talk?
The last sauce talk is the saddest news of the day.
Yeah, we have to hit this because it was a roller coaster of emotions. We had our meeting earlier today with the staff. Choco Taco's gone, and then Blake comes in. He's like, "No, I went to Snopes.com and Choco Taco is not gone." So we're like, "Hooray! We've saved Choco Taco." I came into the channel. And I go, I know. So we go back, and it's like, Choco Taco is gone. This is the first time I've been to Snopes where it's changed midday on us. But yeah, this is a sad day.
Snopes does not make for good streaming B-roll. Sorry, everyone.
No. Choco Taco is gone. Klondike, I don't know what's up with them. Is this a sign of the times?
Can they not get any more of the taco molds? Is there a taco mold like for the thing they shape the Choco Taco with? Is that a shortage or
I don't know? Maybe they'll blame gas stations. Maybe they'll blame gas stations like Biden did. This is an inflation story, probably. I don't know.
Maybe it's the petroleum that they use to make the artificial chocolate. They can't. It's too expensive.
It could be that Choco Tacos kind of suck.
I was gonna say, I've never craved the Choco Taco. I'm sorry.
There's never a time. I told someone this earlier on Twitter. It's not that I want the Choco Taco. I want the ability to have it.
I think America was more in love with the idea of the Choco Taco than the actual execution of the Choco Taco.
I don't really fuck with Klondike very much. Do you guys like Klondike bars?
No,
I
think they taste like soap. They're like soap covered in chocolate.
I like all shitty ice cream.
I've never been on that. Well, give me some strawberry.
I don't really fuck with Klondike like this at all. So
I have a soft spot for shitty ice cream.
Yeah, but Choco Taco, that's at least it was innovative.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
First time.
I think I've had like 3 Choco Tacos in my entire life.
Yeah. You know, I heard the ice cream man drive down my street like 2 weeks ago, and I was pretty excited. But yeah,
I had one pulled up this weekend. Yeah.
You saw him?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
So what are you getting if the ice cream man comes and you can't get a Choco Taco? You're going to get the Turtles ice cream? You're going to get the Sonic?
Get that strawberry shortcake, Give me one of those.
The classic strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry bar.
I mean, I have a restrictive diet. I can't eat anything anymore. But if I could, maybe the drumstick.
The drumstick? That's also a classic.
Chocolate covered, with the nuts on it and stuff.
I'm getting the Turtles.
Also,
I'm getting the
astronaut ice cream?
Pikachu.
Astronaut ice cream.
It wasn't astronaut ice cream. It was like there was something, you could just point at it and he hands it to you. It looked like a clown on the side of the truck, but it never actually looked like a clown. It was like an ice cream on a stick.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't even remember the name of it. Maybe I'd go with that. I don't know. Drumstick's usually hard to fuck up. And also the ice cream sandwich. Those are 2 goats right there.
Yeah. Well, rip to the Choco Taco. Klondike Corporation has decided that it is no longer fit for this world.
Well, I'm putting them on notice. This is something that, we haven't done in a while here on Wide World, but Klondike, you're on notice.
All right. It's official.
And I don't fuck with your Klondike bar, so I don't know what else you can cancel. But you're
Consider yourself notified.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a Cortex winner of the week real quick, though. You know who it is. You know how they did it. Cortex being a separate or a subset of Shacknews.com. It's just another feature on Shacknews.com. One of many features.
It's not just another feature. It's a gamification engine built into the very core of the website. So anything you do can earn you points on it. And
I was just talking about just the write-up part of Cortex where you go and post your own articles and everything. But yes, Cortex overall.
Yeah, there's Cortex there's Cortex, the place where user-generated content is on a feed, but the Cortex gamification engine is really what you're talking about here.
Yeah,
and that's built into everything now.
So yes, that Cortex is pretty much built into everything. Everything you do at Shacknews.com will get you those points, like using the Shack News Cortex feature to post your own articles about anything you want, or Shack News Reader, where you can import RSS feeds, YouTube channels, subreddits of, again, anything you like, not just Shack News hosted stuff, but stuff hosted everywhere across the internet, and look at that in a chronological feed on your own, right there, hosted on shacknews.com. We also have our chatty. We also have our front page articles. Everything you do on the website, everything that you get involved with, will get you those points, and you can then use those points, accumulate them, and be shouted out in the Cortex Carnage Report. We post them every day. We post them every week. They get posted every month, and we like to report on the winner of the week. And this week, it is 8 Mikey winning Shack News, when it's Mad Dog Delphi 97 winning the chatty, and 8 Mikey put up a pretty impressive amount, 245,000 points. It's an 8 Mikey number.
I don't know what this guy does all day other than play Shack Cut. Honestly, that's an absurd.
That number is ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, that is, he put up an absurd
million
number
before.
I know, but this was like, it was consistent all week. I think he may see some of these clips where I'm talking about him here, but like, yeah, that was a nutso number. Because, like, he didn't have to do this. He was beating people by, like, 50K points every day this week. That's nuts. He had 4,000 Shack News points for the week, which means he won basically everything. Yeah, he doesn't get many chatty points. He doesn't really post a whole lot. But, yeah, 245,130 points. cumulative since the launch of Cortex, 8 Mikey has 22,380,387 points.
Wow.
So
Holy
yeah,
shit.
that's more than anyone else. That's more than
Hey, Mikey, he's stunning on us right now.
he really is, man. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. Like, part of me is like, oh no, I made a game that's broken. But at the other maybe I didn't. It's just like, you know, you have LeBron James over there in Multiverse. Like, we have 8 Mikey here on Cortex. Like, he's the GOAT right now. And there's no signs of him slowing down. So we appreciate him using the app. He's keeping all of us honest, and the only way to defeat him is to upload pictures and vote for your pet.
That's right. Use Shack Pets.
Mm-hmm. Or if you don't have, if you don't have pets, like, get on there, add your friends' pets as buddies, and start voting for your buddies against 8 Mikey, because someone needs to take this guy down. I thought for a second maybe someone had entered the arena that could, but nah, not yet. I don't want to be the one.
There will be a challenger. It will happen. There will be someone to rise to the occasion.
But until then, we'll probably be back next week to tell you that 8 Mikey won again.
We probably will. But you know what? I don't want to talk about Mad Dog, so get out there and be chatty on the chatty. And out-chatty Mad Dog. It's not hard to do. Mason does it. Axeman almost does it. You can do it. It is possible.
Yeah, you get points. You get points for posting OPs. You get points for replying. You get points for tagging things with the lols, and you get points for being lolled. So you're incentivized to post funny things to the chatty. What a concept!
What a concept!
It's almost like we built a whole tagging system around being funny.
So yes, go to shacknews.com but use all the features. Like I was saying, they will all get you those points. Shack News Reader, Shack News Cortex, Shack News Chatty, the front page. All of it is there for you to earn points and win.
I'm just gonna buff Reader and not tell anyone because no one's using it. It's crazy. Like no one has added anything to that.
If you get a secret Reader buff, I'm gonna start using it just to see when that buff happens, and then I'll start winning Shack News.
Yeah. That's my trick. I'm gonna claim that I'm gonna do it, and then I won't, so people will use Reader.
All right,
but yeah,
let's
get out of here. Steve Tendo's going on.
Absolutely, yep. Steve Tendo is up. I believe he's still playing Minish Cap. I don't know if he's playing it tonight because he was kind of switching up his nights of the week there. So it could be Minish Cap, could be Mario and Luigi. It could be. All right, awesome. Well, it's going to be more Minish Cap, so stick around for that. That's a great game. Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap on Game Boy Advance through the Wii U Virtual Console. Stick around for some Steve Tendo. I'm Bryan Lefler for Dennis White, Rodney Conyers Jr., and Asif Khan from all of us here at the Wide World of Esports. Thank you so much for watching another week of Esports News. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.
See ya.